Welcome back. It's the APP 868, the app 868, the alternative perspectives podcast. Yeah, we here.
After a week hiatus.
Well, no, man. I listen. I sure people in miss you. Normally, when people miss you, I just get a message. I ain't get a message. People are jamming.
True. That's true. I didn't get anybody asking me how come.
Yeah.
Somebody did contact me, wanting to quarrel with me about something I said on the last show, but nobody did. Nobody, in fact, asked me what going on with the episode.
Yeah. People were jamming and jamming hard.
You feel so, boy?
Yeah, boy.
We go get to that.
Right. I want to shout out to the newest and biggest podcast out of Trinidad and Tobago.
What's the new thing?
No, boy. Yeah. Fatima, boy. Fatima had a podcast. Right? I mean, they probably broke records. They had people paying plenty money. And a very big listenership for the debut episode.
Wait, brother man, you're trying to call the people them Feta podcast?
Well, listen.
First of all, it wouldn't have been the debut. That's the first thing. Right?
No, well, I think it might have been the debut podcast, though.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
This was the first time it was a podcast.
Right. I would hope that before they had a fet.
We now start and they're going in on people already. Like you're going to start to diss people from get go.
But
we need more warming up.
Listen,
you need taking a little stretch.
Listen, my thing is, and it's not a matter of this,
brutal. Bro.
I would like that. I would like to see them do better. I like to see them make some changes. So,
but you're the first person I heard that said they didn't enjoy it.
Because humans weird. And I understand that. No, listen. You see how you used to say a long time? If you could go to a party and not drink alcohol and enjoy it, that was a good party.
Right.
Fatima was one of those events. If you drank alcohol and you came with a crew and you're into real liming, yeah, boy. Now, listen, a lot of effort was made, I would admit, right? And I don't think this really was. Who does organize Fatima Fet? That's what I need to figure out. Who's the actual event manager and this manager you are on the day, because it's at a point in time where Rodi and Janine, whatever her name is.
Yeah, she should be by next while.
Yeah. Talk for about 20 minutes, dog.
You mean talk?
Talk with no music, dog.
What do you mean talk?
They talk,
That's not so. They were MCing. They were MCing the show, and they had a 20-minute segment where they would And she's not a comedian,
right?
So they could have been riffing.
Yeah, and Rodi wasn't really comedian either, right?
Now he went there and he went to school.
I don't think so. No, I'm not too sure. I think he went Digosec at some point in time, but I don't know.
I think it's Fatima. You wasn't there for the interview.
No, who interviewed?
Remember, Drama.
Okay.
Right. Remember we had him on. I think it's Fatima. You said he went. Yeah.
But yeah, boy.
So
I don't know what went on in the back. If in between bands changing, if they didn't have a DJ to play, or the DJ didn't know he had to play, and he went and eat.
How could I not have a DJ to play?
I don't know what went on, dog.
That's a frightening. You can not have a band to play, but not have a DJ.
No, the thing is, why these things would bother me is because I have been an event promoter.
It would bother me too if I go off and two people talking for 20 minutes.
But apparently it didn't bother plenty. No. So like, we were there and people around me was like, so people liming and then they would just stop and be like, them still talking? You understand what I'm saying? And you realize no music and playing and people liming and they eating and they drinking and then...
Right.
But what going on there?
Right.
You understand? You hear that every now and again, but people just vibes in and it's like a cool scene. Now, if you go to a party, the real jam, dog, which I guess is not some people usually go Fatima for.
Or any school all inclusive. I was waiting for you to finish to make that point. But
right? Then I guess it mightn't bother you per se. But for me, I ain't really go to jam down the place either. But I ain't go to hear people talk for 20 minutes straight now, boy. That was real bothering my soul now, boy. Like, what is this?
Well, if that happened, well, I mean, I ain't saying line, but if that is the case, then that shit.
And
and that's on any level. That is any event. Once there's a soca fete, once a fete of any sort, all inclusive, wherever, unless you're telling me you're having a comedic set, like what Blacks does do when what used to do when he was doing his when I went to see him in the Hyatt series,
yeah.
right? He really put on a show of all sorts. He was performing and getting some kind of, he wouldn't call it stand-up comedy, but he was entertaining in between.
Right.
That's fine. But
And I still in between and in the gear song. Whatever.
right.
And no,
But I should.
as I say, from me doing events, I understand where the logistics probably went wrong. And I do think Fatima is wholly to blame. As I say, whoever was managing the event, I mean, they need to be checked, because I think it's a situation where a band finished, they come on and they start to talk, okay, make some noise, whoever. And then they start to talk and realize,
right.
But no
nobody
DJ
coming and tapping them on the shoulder.
Yeah, well, he ready to play.
Or signaling them from the side of the stage.
Yeah, so they talk and then they start to, who all they were for the room, and they start to sing these songs.
Wow.
So they start to sing the Nyla, they start to sing the Bungie, and reel it and sing again. I was like, whoa. What is this? What are we doing here? Now, as I say, me being a promoter, well, a DJ, artist manager, all these things, it will bother me much more than it will probably bother other people.
No, I think it's also the type of event, like you was mentioning. And that's why I feel is the vibe of all these school all-inclusives. Now, I'm not saying it's only former students that go, right? But that is who it is appeal to the most. And, having gone to QRC Fed, because I only went once, right? Our people have always been trying to get me to go. I only went once, right? But the one time I went, is not a fete in the sense that a fete, because there's so many, everybody's friends, so it's really a lime that is taking place. That is why people just care so much about the ambience and the food, because they didn't go there to go and find some strange bird and jam. You understand what I'm saying? They come with their friends to knock glass and lime.
No, what I would admit though, Jude, it had real room for strange bird and jam though. When I tell you, and the party turned up at a certain point. Later on, the party turned up in a manner that I really didn't expect from an all-inclusive or a school party. Or a school
all-inclusive.
All-inclusive, right? It reached a kind of level there, Jude. I being honest with you, I was like, whoa, this thing started to remind me of Pier 1. Pier 1 cool after this.
Apparently, QRC had a moment in time when it had that too, because that's some thing where, I don't know what it was on top of, but Iowa was on a thing, and them black kind of leading people around the party on a kind of float,
right?
And singing, and it turned into a proper jam session. So yeah, but the reason I point out what the vibes is because that is why it wouldn't have been bothering people at that point,
right? Yeah,
you understand? Because them come to knock glass and line with a friend, and as far as I'm concerned, they have the liquor they want, they have the food they want, so that's ain't bothering them right now. If that had happened in
Soca,
yeah, or Stink and Dirty, all patrons would have started to get mad.
If it wasn't Stink and Dirty, I think it would have resulted in butter.
Right, butter, right, exactly. So it wasn't just, I understand what you're saying, as a promoter and an event manager, it would stick out to you, even in that context. But I feel in a different context, it would have stick out to anybody.
But here's the thing about it too, right? I think too, the DJs who were there, a lot of them, they operated like that, with that in mind. Like, here we're going on, I come in to play music for a lime.
Right.
And I didn't see much effort from them DJs. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Also, when a DJ come and he put on a song and he started la la la.
Yeah.
I could tell it, dog, when they were vibes, you don't have time to la la as a DJ. You come here play a song, you're looking for the next big song to play one time. Nah, them fellas, and play song and la la la. Fingal, walking on the stage like it's a Sunday and talking every now and again. And I like, wait, boy, they're doing this party injustice. I was seeing the potential for the party to flip over now, right? And them fellas and them, they just like, nah, boy, I go and collect my money. I'm not working too hard here tonight.
Right.
I just go, and Euphoric was there. I don't know if it was right, but I mean, Euphoric is the name of the group. And normally Ryan Pank is the one who's playing for Euphoric. And he real bad as far as I concerned. And I'm not too sure if it was him, but I know there's it was Euphoric. And I was surprised by him, man. Play real calm and real dookie. I real rate Ryan Panker.
Had Patrick screaming as usual?
No, well, Patrick wasn't there. If Patrick was there, I think Patrick would have make sure the party reach an next level. Fingal was micing for him.
Okay.
And then it had some woman too who was real off micing, and I don't know who she is, where she come from in this green outfit. And anyhow, but and then next issue I had with it is by 10:30, plenty of the bars had lock off for it, boy. And the party is finishing 1 o'clock.
No, that can't.
Yeah.
No, that can't.
No.
Oh, were you the only person mention any of this to me?
Yeah, well, remember, for the thing is, as I tell you, I go on for food, dog. I go on for food and the drinks, right? I go on there for that, right? And what's that happen now is about 10:30, I ain't gonna get real food, dog. I ain't gonna that plenty thing to eat. I just had a few places, as I say, about 10:30, so when I was walking around looking for more thing to try, and whatever the case maybe they had lock off already, thing done with the food too. I was like, hey boy. Then what happened is my wife was drinking a particular drink, and I know the key to this thing, and then she's not a drinker too. So the key to this thing is to stick to one drink. And that done now, boy. So I was like, shit. Right. You understand what I'm saying? So that's why I noticed that. Then my uncle was drinking a particular drink, and then he come and he's like, nah, boy, dog, boy.
That done.
Yeah, that done. And then I hear Corey on his podcast say he was drinking, I think, Absolute. I don't know why he drinking this Absolute shit, but whatever.
I vomiting, man.
Yeah, boy, yeah. You understand?
I'm obsessed stomach.
That vodka when I was a child kind of thing, but I bet you do your thing.
I drink to vomit.
Yeah. And he said that finished, so he had to switch.
To what, boy? What the hell?
I don't know what else he would have drink, but I mean, it had
Sky. That Sky after that.
I don't know we would have decided to drink after that, but
no, but what kind of vodka when Absolute done? What it serving?
But the thing is, it had other types of vodka. It had
and people rush the Absolute.
Well, this is why I can't. Nah, but you know, I realize when the old people drink Absolute vodka, dog. Like when you talk to older people and you know, long time at train party, and older DJ or older artists come in and they say, well, you know, we organize a bottle for you, Absolute vodka, and we used to be like, why the hell would you want Absolute vodka? You understand what I'm saying?
Wait. I was like, are you talking out my stomach again?
I remember drinking Absolute at Juve morning, dog, and it's tiring, dog.
Yeah, boy.
I up in Sinclair, my belly turn up, you know. You understand? I don't touch that at all.
Yeah, I remember it was a Juve, but I was crop over 4 morning. I had to run home. I had to tell them for like, hey, hear this. Like go home. Like we'll go back to the hotel.
Yeah.
I had to shit, dog.
Yeah.
I couldn't take it.
Absolutely. I don't understand, but I mean, kudos to whoever that is work for.
Them who are cast iron belly. Could drink them thing.
And I mean, that's my only thing. It had some ribs I would have liked to try that I'd finish. Some horse that finish as well. My thing is I understand food kind of finishing because I've been to parties where you try to have real food to make sure everybody, you know, get food. But then after the party, after the party is real food
to give away
and throw away plenty time away. Because plenty time people even, you know, that, right? So I could understand the food. I wasn't too upset about that. Some of the bars closing off by 10:30. I think that's kind of bothered by that in terms of the performances. Kes had the tightest set, and the best sounding set. However, Bungie and them, when Bungie start hard with the hard fet, and dog, that man start hard with the hard fet and step aside and left fear, and they sing on like one or two power song like I read they have a song together on the same rhythm or something and shit like that.
I think they have a song called Lift.
And two of them were song new. Them
a Grenadian song and Jab song. Yeah, my people good lift it. Yeah, and she have a song on that same rhythm.
Right, too. Yeah. So they did that and then they went into a dread fear and said, bad idea, dog. Party started empty, dog.
Serious?
Yeah, party started empty.
That's it.
Yeah, party started empty. He started to see space.
Wow.
At that point, my aunt and him was like, yeah, wait.
Time to bust.
Yeah, time to bust. And I was like, I was see them sing hard for that again, you know. Yeah. He's up a little bit now, boy. And they was like, now you fed up, she.
Serious?
Yeah.
And I was hearing the opposite in the start of the season. I think we mentioned on the podcast before. I was hearing people saying how she was, there's a point in time when you stop performing. Well, not stop, but people say, "Oh, you're seeing him by yourself now, right?" And I said that's strange because I was hearing. You see, that's why it was good to be out there yourself, right? But I was hearing that she was actually accentuating his performances in the early stages of the season because everybody's saying Bunchy bad, but he don't have that crowd power, the ability to move the crowd like how she had, and I thought still has. But apparently, you tell me that's not the case.
No, I know what the problem is, though. I know what the problem is.
What?
and I want to make sure and state that because just in case anybody hear this and figure, I rate Faye and Lyons as one of the best, if not the best female soca artists right now in the world. Right? However, I think Hardfet was bigger than them and the band. I don't think they understood the magnitude of the song. So, it come like, that song was so big that if you don't come with something after that, close to that level,
the vibe
will drop.
So it didn't happen to her necessarily.
Yeah. It's a matter of...
It was just they shouldn't start with that.
Is that right? Don't start with Hardfet. Or if you start with Hardfet, you had
to
like...
a little taste.
But you had to let Gallon run. You had to let Gallon run and run with the older songs. Because, deny it or not, Hardfet is the older type of Gallon music now. Right? Them Black Spaniard and Fet and right? And let them run down the road with them tunes, keep the pace up. Right? Vibe. Left and come and get on and them songs drop on the ground and roll. And then break it back down from there.
Consider it done.
Right? Alright, consider it done. And all them things and break it back down. And bring down. And then continue with the other things. And then come back up. You understand? But they didn't do that. They went interfering too early and they break the vibe now, boy. And so it come like it climaxed too early.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So I think that is the problem. However, I mean, still all they do all the thing and 1 road match.
Yeah, but we get to that in a little bit.
The most confusing thing in the world, though.
What was that?
You see Bungie and Faye and they 1 road match.
We go get to all of that in a second.
Yeah. So but other than that, so if that's how Fatima does normally be, or if that's what it's going to be next year, I definitely wouldn't pay that kind of money to go. Yeah, I wouldn't pay that $1,150. I mean, I might probably take 5 years to pay off for that ticket. I like a car loan I buy for that for Fatima last year, this year, but yeah, but I can't see myself going back to something like that.
Listen, I like I keep saying, all inclusives are fets. To me, couples fets, couples and like friend fets, right? You know what I mean? It is to me like a big lime, and it is the kind of fet you could go with your significant other and know you're gonna avoid problems, issues, trouble. You know what I mean? Because it ain't no such a, well, they say it get wassy in the end, but I mean, I still feel it ain't like a bacchanal road. You know what I mean? Where you take a significant other and you might wish you didn't because you're seeing this one, you want to go be, you know what I mean? It's not that kind of vibes, you know? All inclusive is something you go with your significant other, or they could have a good, once the vibe is good, or they could really have a good, I see the best setting for you to have a couple's good time, especially if your significant other is not a wassy person, or if your significant is a real wassy person, then that ain't gonna be them vibes, period. Yeah. But, you know, and so maybe I just speaking from my own personal situation where my significant other is not a wassy one, right? So that is her speed, her vibes there. So that's what all inclusive is good for to me. I would never ever poke out of my thoughts and say going all inclusive with my brethren, my partners, and not paying. And even with, as I say, and if money running nice this season, then yeah, I would take my significant other and friends and go to one of them events. But money had to be playing, man. You know, money had to be running. I'm not taking no hard-earned money and sacrificing to go and pay somebody. What I could get...
Dog, here I will tell you, right? Big man thing. And I would say if I was not married, man, right? I wouldn't say if I didn't go with my wife alone. But if I was not married, man, I could have seen myself having real fun, dog, in Fatima. I'm being honest with you.
All right.
When I tell you real fun, because real little birds and thing, some of them I can't remember, boy, dog, but I don't know my name. Sorry if all this watch this. Real sorry, but yeah, boy, real birds, heal man. Like when I go on, you know, to get food or go on, come on, bust a little wine and come on, real dog. It have birds as iron me down hard, and you know.
Well, I mean,
I see. I could have had real fun there, dog.
Well, you see, again, I don't go on them thing, you know. I went a couple,
but the thing is, like my cousin,
maybe the vibes completely changed.
Well, my cousin who does normally go because it was 12 hours on, right? And my cousin who's normally go, there's like, nah, boy, this one a little different, boy. So apparently
The vibes was different this time.
different, yeah.
All right. Well, and like I say, from the videos I saw from QRC, it looked like that one guy. The one I went, it got wassy. This get a little wassy towards the end, but still a tame wassy. It's still a kind of mature crowd, kind of, everybody a little tight, so they're enjoying themselves. People feeling the vibes, but it didn't turn into, hey, people start to jam from left to right.
Yeah,
it wasn't like that. So I guess if that's the vibes, they change. But that's the only reason I personally could never see myself getting a $1,200 or $1,000 experience out of one of them fets ever. And it's not because you see, I'm not going to eat back $1,000 or drink $1,000 back. I want to have fun to that extent. Well, and I can't see any of them things producing that for me.
I think like they say, they say rich people don't pay prostitutes for sex.
They pay them to leave.
Yeah. I think plenty of people pay their money to go to this fete is really to pay the way out or apart from certain people. Right. You understand what I'm saying? I don't think most of the people who do it is actually go looking for a $1,200 experience. I think the experience of them is not having certain types of people around them.
Well, true, but they have Wasi Fest they could go to for that too. They could go to Soca. They could go to...
And do how them... I mean...
Well, yeah, but it had them people in all-inclusives too.
Well, I didn't see...
In school all-inclusives too.
Yeah, but I didn't really see them in the Fatima. Well... But I remember Berkey and them was in Soca.
Them was in Hyatt too.
Mm-hmm. True.
Exactly. Yeah. So, and that was... $1,000 more than them things.
Yeah, true.
So, and there's being beach house. You understand? So, I'm not saying, I don't feel it's necessary. I feel it, as I say, first of all, it's a lot of the alma mater, and a lot of people see it as, well, this is the fete where all of me and my friends is, because remember, it's carnival time. People who you went to school with, who live abroad, everybody touched on. So, this is a communal point, right? So, that's the first selling point. And then I think other people want to fit in a more mature setting, not really away from certain class, but amongst a more mature crowd. And I feel like if what you saying, if it start to change up, I feel it'll start to run the mature crowd.
Right.
Because that's what I'm trying to get away from.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's not really them speed. So if it start to get too wassy, then you might see some of the older crowd, they might start to dissipate, and then it might turn into a whole different vibes. You know what I mean?
Well, the thing is, how long would the younger people or the other people be able to support paying that price, you see?
Well, it don't have to be young like 20, 21. It could be young like 25 to 35. You know what I'm saying?
But a lot of people are saying that this one apparently had real people. Apparently, it had more people, and I would assume that's probably why those bars ran out. Probably why the food ran out is because people were saying it had way more people than they ever saw there before. Also, it was when I tell you, it had real people in the dog. First of all, I didn't know inside Fatima was so big. Inside the center part of Fatima, right?
Oh, you never used to go Mayfair and thing?
It was. I went Mayfair already, but I remember going in the hall. I went to play in Mayfair, right? I remember going in the hall to juggle. And I really can't remember going in that part.
In the yard?
Yeah. When we went Mayfair, the hall used to be on the right hand side as you enter the gate.
Yeah.
Inside it.
But then when the real Wasi Mayfairs spill out onto the courtyard because it get too big.
Right.
You understand? So the settings used to get real wild in them days. Yeah. So it's surprising you didn't see them once.
I went Mayfair twice to play. Bigger Private Ryan was the one who called us to play for that. That always confused me because he went CIC. But he was in charge of the DJs for Fatima. Okay. Strange.
So but how long are you talking about in what?
That's before it was Private Ryan.
No, but what year so you talking about?
Talking about 2003, 2004.
Oh, no. You don't know. I don't know Mayfair when I was in Form 2 and Form 3 and things.
I went Mayfair because I went Mayfair to juggle when I had no sort of drive and thing to drive and pull up to Mayfair to DJ.
No. You didn't go when it was at school. When you didn't go to school, why?
Nah.
You missed the real wave of Mayfair.
Nah.
Mayfair, you see Mayfair between probably 96, probably from 95 to 99. You see that stretch of Mayfair, them was wild, right?
Serious.
Them was wild. I mean, listen, I never like anything affiliated with Fatima, but I had to big up how big Mayfair. That was the best school party, the best school dance in town. Yeah. I mean, I hear about Holy Cross and thing, but I was living up on the side, right? Yeah. So I never went them thing. And I went Eldo dance.
Them was the monsters.
And that couldn't hold a candle to the Mayfair.
Yes.
Telling you.
The Eldo dance that used to be in the night?
Yes, the Eldo dance used to be in the night. And I went to the Eldo dance in the night when I was in like Form 6, so I was a bigger fella.
Right.
And couldn't hold a candle to them early days of Mayfair. Early days of Mayfair was wild, bro. It was wild. So that was a different age. If you talk about in the 2000s. But
That's the 2000s. I just remember pulling in, and that's a bad habit I always had as a DJ. Honestly, I really don't like partying, you know. I like entertaining. I really like that. So for me, I reach, and my focus is the DJ, dog. I reach, pull in, and when I reach a certain stage, I always with woman, so me looking for a woman. You understand? Since 2005, I must have done living with woman, all kind of shit already as a little boy. So, but anyhow, Fatima, as I say, if only
So you call it a podcast, why? Because it had a little 20-minute segment?
Yeah, 20 minutes of talk is long. It's a podcast that's 15 minutes, dog. Right?
I say you come to shit on the people in the party. Just a little 20-minute segment?
Nah, that's too much. And the thing is,
wicked.
That was the longest one. But it had other times too, where it had a good bit of talking and no music. Then the next thing is, I think Rudy and them supposed to understand that by now. It had like twice they introduced the band before the band was ready and they had to pull back. Right? In terms of the band on the stage and the band, now obviously I gained this experience from hosting big shows and things, right? Or MCing big shows. The band will be on the stage and what they do sometimes they will start to kind of play to the song that the DJ playing, right? And they start to do, right?
Yeah, that's true.
And then but they're not ready. Yeah. Right? And they introduce and then they had to pull back. So then the DJ cut off. And he and the band going,
So you never stage manager?
I don't understand what went. Probably not. Probably that's where I had all that chaos. And listen, Fatima, I am ready, willing, and able to, if you want me to manage the event, the entertainment and stuff for you all next year.
Yeah, man.
Already and willing.
That is rudimentary stuff, bro. You have somebody communicating. So the MC don't have to read no situation and talk like he's informed as to what's taking place. Because stage manager is always telling him, hey, okay, they're ready, introduce whatever. So I find that real strange that they put on such a big event. And from what I hear, they try real hard with the decor. Not as hard as CIC.
CIC decor definitely. Blue days or the water.
But if you're going to go through all that effort, a stage manager can't be hard to get.
As I say, I would like to find out who's the person that started managing the event.
It's still sounding to me like whoever managed them event was better than the people who managed Kess and Marshall. Because from what I hear, bro, them people mad. The vex.
Well, one, I think it's and I mean this is not to take anything from Kess. I think it's real shocking that Kess had a major turnout boy that caused all that bacchanal boy. As I say, I'm not in no way knocking Kess. I think Kess is great as well. Just I shocked and I think probably that shocked them too. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay. But was it that the turnout was that major, or it was just not understanding the location, the timing that you're having people coming out to this fete is a time where it's normally have traffic going in that area anyway, and so, yeah. I mean, I'm not saying it didn't have a big crowd, but I'm wondering if it was the crowd that was overwhelming or if it was just it was poorly managed logistics. Not knowing that, okay, if you're trying to fit in Branagh Stadium, it had to start 10 o'clock. Yeah, you can't have people trying to come there 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock in the evening.
The thing is, even people who pull off the highway to go to the event, they were stuck in a bottleneck, and so it's not just the crowd that going south, right? So that I know a girl and she came and she was saying that when they turn off the highway, right? Okay, so you face the regular traffic, right? And she said when they come off the highway and to get into the venue, after an hour, and the police said, well, just pull and park. She said, I'm not going through this because when they were at the park, it was a long walk now. And she's like, I'm not going to. And she and her team bought tickets because she from here, but her team from the States, right? And they bought tickets and they said, now we're not going to do this. They turned wrong. She said, when the girls in the car, now we're going to sell the tickets at least. And she's like, no, I'm not going to do this.
Trying to walk so far.
Yeah, and gone. And they ride out. So, no.
But that is again because of the venue. Because you remember when you had the light show down there.
Yeah.
Chaos.
Yeah.
It was chaos because if you're looking to park inside there, Because when there are shows in the stadium, I think everybody don't try to park in the stadium.
Right, yeah.
People know to park is
Wrong. Find somewhere.
So not everybody's not sitting in the car waiting to drive into the GPA complex car park. With the Brand Irish Stadium, there's nowhere to park in the vicinity.
Right.
So you have to get into the area. Again, if you understand that, you would know it could be 500 people coming. If they come around the same time, you can have problems.
Right. I think it's the same thing because, for instance, I heard like Suka had a shuttle system.
Right.
Even Burna Boy, even though it mightn't have worked out in the end, right? They had a shuttle system. So even if you had to do something like that, park by some one of them plaza and them or something, and then shuttle people and shuttle. The thing is, I don't want to knock them too hard because, as I say, I also think a part it was underestimating.
But you know, your ticket sales, you go no, and then you put things in place. But listen, there's no excuse for that, bro. That is quite simply you falling down, you dropping the ball on your walk. Your walk is to manage the logistics of the event. At every stage, at every step of the way, you're seeing how your ticket sales going. If you know your walk, you will start to think, oh well, this is going to present these sorts of challenges.
Right.
And I should prepare for that.
But you see, I think I still want it because if it's let me just say part of a team who doing this and may not have the experience to know that. Then
and that's I'm not saying it's Kes' fault, you know. I'm not saying these artists.
Yeah.
I don't whoever managed that event, it's their fault.
Well, right. So
I will knock them for 6 because if I did apply to do any work, they'd tell me who's you.
Right. So right. And I think that is important. I think it's important for people to hire professional and experienced event managers and event coordinators. I think that is important.
Because my thing is always, that's what has always get me vexed. Now, I'm not saying I would apply for that work or that I could manage an event. What I'm saying is, if I had said, hey, you want to give me a little small money, I go do it for you. But who is you? You do it. But I could see problems you can't see.
Right.
So then, all right. So when the problems arise and you fall down, I had to hit you for 6 because you claim to be the big shot. You see what I'm saying? Hey, I could manage this event. Give me, because I sure to get whoever it is, they get a percentage, like all event managers of the budget for the event, and they went home smiling.
Well, the thing is, we hoping that is what happen, and not just a matter of somebody on Kes team who is working in the office. Yeah, who's working in the office? Say, well, now and then just pick up our responsibility.
Well, then I blame Kes then.
Yeah.
If you allow that to happen with your signature event, then you are lash. You understand?
He or the management, because anytime is the management might organize all that and them just showing up to perform. Right? So Simon, what are you doing? Talk to me. What went on there?
Something wrong there, right? But with the Marshall one now, this one is this is
the one that I think they should have very little excuse for, because the people involved in this are seasoned.
Yes.
Event planners, event promoters, seasoned.
But what is getting me is that people are acting like this is the first time they've encountered problems with Marshall's concerts.
I think this was the worst though. No, because it at times was bad. But you see that sea of people waiting by the gate.
But I experienced that before with a Marshall fan, and I don't go Marshall show often. I must have gone to Marshall show 3 times in my life, and I've experienced that before. I don't know. No, maybe I experienced it for an hour and 15 minutes. Maybe this year, if I'd gone, I might have had to experience it for 2.5 hours. But the point is, I've experienced that dog shit to get inside already.
I just want to stick up in there. You know, I never experienced that. Suka Monarch. And, you know.
Well, you wouldn't experience that in Suka Monarch this year, for sure. You know, that smooth entry. You could have run through.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yes,
you could have do the starter gun and you could have sprint.
That's the only thing Suka Monarch should promise next year in the fast entry.
I've gone, and I told you this before. Every time I hear people try to give me this excuse that, and the people who want to, the Marshall sycophants will, when I say these things, they think it's Marshall hate, right? I have never gone to a Marshall show and found anything about the production wowing in any way, shape, or form. Never. I've never gone to a Marshall show and said, this was the most professionally put together show I've ever seen in my life. I've never seen that. And people have always tried to tell me that that's why he's so monstrous, right? That's why they're so sycophantic about him. That's why they would follow him to the ends of the earth, because listen, you see what the man has put on. Now, I've seen Marshall put on performances that have been wonderful. And he is a natural born entertainer, and he's dynamic and charismatic and entertaining and talented and all that. But his show, I've never gone to a show, Naldo, and felt, yeah, boy, dog, boy. That was the most professional production I've always seen. The last one I went to, I tell you, the show was long and winding. It was, he stopped the music to a cappella on a guitar song, horrible. And they just had these sets where they just throw, that was the year where they throw all of the, these groovy soca. When groovy soca was hitting, right? And he take all of the groovy soca, Lyrical Cloud9 did come out that year, and he just take all them artists and just throw them in a segment in the middle of the show, just so. He's singing songs with no kind of pattern and in certain parts of the stadium you can't hear properly yet. Dog,
I heard that they had that issue in this.
I got and heard horrible audio. I'm fed up here that people acting like that new thing. But again, people just view this man through some sort of rose-tinted glasses. Now again, I know I shouldn't have to say it, but I'll always say, this is Marshall as an artist, and as a performer, he deserves a lot of respect. He's one of the hardest working performers, period. Definitely probably the hardest working in soca. Consistently hardworking. I do have anything against the man. I'm just saying, some of this hype wall, just try to throw, and pretend like if he puts on Usher and Chris Brown type quality production, and that's why he's so no, come on, bro. He's bringing foreign acts.
Right. And here, you believe that is one of the issues I have with Marshall. That is one of my biggest issues with Marshall and that Marshall, well, what was Marshall Monday before? I remember saying it on radio, and probably that is, anyhow. But like the time when they brought on a set of dancehall artists, I co-sign that, real co-sign that, like, all they don't need them thing to sell tickets us, right? First of all. And if it is, we believe that what we have is a product that we should harness and we should, put out there, stop trying to use outside things to boost it.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
But to be fair to Marshall, though, I mean, that was just men coming to sing dancehall. What he used to, because he collaborated with foreign artists.
Some of them, but sometimes, but not all the time you do that. Like, as I say, like when you bring the dancehall artists, if you bring artists you collaborate with, cool. You understand what I'm saying?
No, but I think that is what people see when he brings the artists. Because, I mean, and no disrespect to him, but I think his status is kind of dwindling. I don't know if he'll have the pull to, collab with Ariana Grande again, you know what I mean? And be able to bring some, he didn't bring her for a show, but I mean, that is what people really drawn to.
And I like that. If you sing with them artists, right? And you bring them, cool. But when they start to just bring no, I don't want to say random because it's big artists, right?
But it's random considering the context in which you're bringing it.
Right. Yeah. I have an issue with that. Like, it come like where this might be a stretch, but it come like you're Trinidad football team, right? And you want to go out there and compete in the World Cup, but then Messi will come and play for you. And he can't really play for the country. If you understand what I'm saying, he can't do nothing for the country, really and truly.
But you bring him in some exhibition match.
Yeah,
and put him in a Trinidad jersey. And teach people that, like, if he could actually take the team and
the team forward. He can't, because when it's time to really play, he can't play, right? So the thing is, and a lot of people fail to realize, you have to really believe in a thing. I tell people once, when Buju come out of jail and went Grenada, right? Grenadian artists close that show,
Man.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Because, hey, you might be Bushu. Being bigger than we think, though. Being bigger than we think and we artists. You understand what I'm saying?
No, but remember, and this comes back to why he has such a hold on Trinidadians, right? Trinidadians I believe this has always been my opinion, we suffer from self-esteem issues. And we seek external validation to a degree I can't even fathom or understand, right? So everything you do in Trinidad becomes greater in the eyes of a Trinidadian if you have some sort of foreign endorsement.
Right.
If you get some commendation from foreigners, or if you get foreigners involved, right, now you reach.
That's like the weirdness with soca, man. Like when you used to bring actors.
Right.
To sit down and watch the show.
Yes.
Basically.
Yes, exactly.
That was weirdest shit in the world too. Like, you bring actors who don't know nothing about soca to come and sit and watch soca, man.
Now, I know, if you're doing it from a strictly a tourism marketing standpoint, I understand that. But it's the way Trinidadians used to feel like, oh my God, we reach because Idris Elba is here. You know, like he's just being paid. He's being paid. And bring him here. He'd go anywhere if you pay him. You know what I mean? He didn't, come here because he thinks Trinidad and Tobago is this gem of a place. He came here because his management, somebody reached out to them and was like, So, but Trinidadians so dotish that, anytime they see themselves associated with something foreign, they feel better. And he tapped into that because he presented himself as the first superstar of soca. And that is why he's such a big deal to us, but not so big to the other fans of soca in other islands. And that's why they'll be so confused when they watch. Like, all right, I know they like Marshall, but what the fuck is wrong with you all? Because they don't see that. But we are enamored with him simply because we feel he's give us a status. And that's why he could have, his shows, people carry on like his shows what this claim is the production value that's so great, but it's not. It's really what they really want to say is that he's a big artist.
Right.
He's a superstar and he's put on a big show. If I were put on a show, he go bring some scrunting artists to come and sing. When Marshall put on a show, he bring in Timaya and he bring in Major Lazer. You understand what I'm saying? And Bungie, had he continued with the trajectory he was on, he would have gotten to that point too. Because he was heading for and I mean, no disrespect to him, if he might be doing things out there and I don't know, because he might say, hey, but I still doing them things. But the point is not a big differentology that timing when he was out there doing South by Southwest and all them things.
I remember going to a club in Las Vegas, dog, and he had 3 Bungie songs that I have never heard in Trinidad. Never heard in Trinidad in my life. Right? EDM songs, right? Techno kind of songs. And I stand up confused in the club and I'm like, so where does this come from? What's this? You understand?
I hear that with KMC.
Serious?
KMC and Fireball. Both of them. I heard Fireball in a club in Cambridge in the UK. And I heard KMC in Amsterdam. Yeah. So them fellas has been collabing, making music.
Talking about KMC, there's some things to touch on with KMC too, but anyway, we can touch on that in the mix. But with this Marshall thing, I think you could have saved yourself some money. You didn't do no major performances for the season, right?
Yeah.
You save everything for this last show. I think in efforts to make sure people buy tickets to come out. I don't think you need to bring in Wizkid. I see Wizkid posts on the private jet coming to Trinidad. That shit is going to be expensive. You understand what I'm saying? He ain't gassing his private jet out of his pocket, though. You understand what I'm saying? Marshall ain't that great to Wizkid that he gassing that private jet out his pocket to come Trinidad and park it when they touch down here. You have to pay fees for the stay here. You understand what I'm saying? I think some money could have been saved.
But why you think the Timaya was so important? Why you think it is so important that he bring these people to him?
Well, the thing is, what people are saying is because he's trying to make the link with the Afrobeats and to make that connection. See, that Afrobeats is the thing that picking up worldwide right now. And it is. I mean, you're hearing even Americans talking about the Afrobeats.
Yeah, but he's doing that with Timaya a long time.
Right? So I think now he decided, hey, well, let me try and seal it and cement it one way or the other.
It's hard to have a big name artist, bro.
You feel it's that way?
It's a Marshall show. How he's gonna put on a Marshall show without bringing somebody who is a high and I mean,
but you can't bring Nikki.
Nah, Nikki, Nikki's a Trinidadian. Nikki doesn't say the same thing. You know what I mean? Nikki doesn't say I'm a big dog.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Nikki comes to Trinidad for Carnival. Right? So she could come and perform in a Marshall show.
Right.
Now, if he brought Rihanna, that's a different story.
Right.
You understand? If you bring Drake, that's a different story. Because they have no connection with here. So them coming because your status as an artist could command that. And you're paying. Right?
Yeah.
But the point is, even if you're paying, them fellas ain't just, and them artists not going to just start come and stand up on anybody's stage, right? So it is important that he had major international acts to solidify himself as a superstar in the genre. Not just in the genre, but in the country.
Because here was weird to me, right? That Calm Down song, right? All the videos I saw, now if people are there and you see different or you experience different, feel free to let us know, whichever way, whether it be through Twitter or YouTube or whatever. But all the videos I saw when that man was singing that Calm Down, the crowd looked real calm now, boy. Right?
Well, it was just following instructions.
Yeah. But compared to when they played that song, or I don't know if they're singing it in the World Cup. You saw those videos?
No.
That song was playing in Qatar, and you were hearing the whole crowd, dog. Calm down. Like I was shocked. Like I was like, wait, this tune real big was, right? But that's not the effect we get here. And I would
and
think,
why do you think that is?
Which is confusing me because why I was confused is because one, well, that's why I make the point that he didn't need to bring them. But one, people who went to Qatar to go to the World Cup, I don't think they really went to see or hear Calm Down, right? I think they went to see football. And for them to react like that to the song is like, wow. Right. And then to know that possibly some of these people pay to come and hear this man sing. And didn't really react in that way when the man was singing.
Why you think they didn't react like that when he was singing?
I think because Morebi wasn't on that.
Remember the point he was making with
Burna
Boy? That music is not really appreciated here. We pretend we love it. We know 2 songs, just like with everything else. We know 2-3 songs, and all of a sudden we're the biggest fans of this thing. We don't really know that music. That not really. Now, the song is big, as you just pointed out, but not here. That's why it and the promoters didn't recognize that. The artists themselves didn't recognize that. They haven't recognized that. Hey, yes, that music is big out there, but there's a very few of the songs coming here and making a splash.
And I mean, I wasn't there, but if he didn't start with that song, I could see he starting 1 or 2 songs that people didn't really know, and people like, huh? And then they come and they sing that song and they're like, all right.
No, man, listen, Wizkid is a big artist with plenty big songs that people here would know if he started with, you know. But that Calm Down song is not one that has been beaten left, right, and center in Trinidad.
And I think at that point of the season, Carnival Friday, I think people are ready for soca.
Yeah.
I think people are ready to jam. I think people were ready to just let go and get loose now, boy. There was none of that, especially at that point.
All right, so we deal with Marshall, we deal with the cats, right? As you mentioned that, let me
Sure, I'm deal with KFC before KMC before we
we had to deal with KMC for
well, the thing is, and I want to talk to him hopefully at some point, and because remember he had feel like people had hate him. Like Chinis that hate him.
I think he still feels so.
Right? Well, the thing is,
just fight him.
Well, the thing is, when he every time he went and he get a little performance and he get a little mashup, he come and he post a little video on Facebook because I don't know how to see his videos on Facebook, right? And you see, this is how the people real receive me and it's real love and whatever. I don't think people I don't think people didn't like him. I think he was singing things that people didn't like. But when they come and they sing the songs that people like, do get it forward. If people didn't like you could come back and sing 3 Miles and whatever. Bashment, the Carnival and whatever. And they would like boo you or run you. But nah, dog, I think people like him older music and they just do like, but artists had that problem because every song they put, they think it's supposed to be a masterpiece. And when people do like it, somehow they just figure people do like them now, boy.
I think he in particular thought, and he still say it, he's talk like, last time I heard him talk, he still talk like he have the formula. He thought he worked out the formula for hit writing because he had a good run for a short period of time. And in his mind, he ain't changed the formula. So the only reason you could not like him anymore or his new music not being appreciated is because somebody fighting him. I don't feel he ever feels like the average Trinidadian don't like him. I think he's specifically talking about people in the industry.
Because they didn't play any music.
Right, they didn't play his music, right? And because he feels that I haven't changed my formula. So if you play my music, the people will love this like how they love
them,
the old tunes. But, you know, you can't talk to a man and like that, because he confident in his brain that he ain't changed the formula, and that formula is he wouldn't stop and say, well, maybe that's a formula that was relevant for 5 years. Maybe the formula changed. You understand what I'm saying? Or maybe I had to tweak the formula, or maybe the people don't want to hear me sing no more. Maybe I had to pen songs for other people, produce songs for other people. Maybe is my voice developed of that style, that vibes. They don't really want to hear new music in our vein anymore. But you can't talk to a man who feel you know what I mean? And because so it's always
I look at a guy like Sean Winchester. Remember that time Sean Winchester was killing them off? And I never heard Sean Winchester come and talk about the industry fighting them down now. He's come and he's try every year.
He's still trying?
Yeah, he still try.
He try again this
year?
year?
He got a song this year. It was not a bad song. It was not a bad offering, but I think now there's a different era of music in terms of telling people this. Your song had to be a monster, or you had to be good with the DJs. If your song is not a monster and you're not good with the DJs, you will be forgotten and your tuning will play. And he just continue to come and he's continued to bring his offerings. But
I'm sure if you talk to him, he might still be one of them. No, I'm not saying he.
Well, the thing is, even after his decline, I mean, see him in the station off air, and you know he never really,
he never hit that fight.
Nah, he never hit that fight. Don't talk. Right. You know it is. You know we bring in music, and if the people like it, you know,
right?
We bring in music.
And listen, I don't know. We talked about this before, but ultimately is artists need to have a certain level of humility and a certain level of understanding of what you're doing, what you're involved in. This is not woodworking. There's not carpentry. There's not law. There's not doctor where, okay, well, once I keep doing the same thing, why would people stop hiring me? No, you're doing something that's like you're in the creative space. A whole host of reasons could be why people not on you no more. Your fat has changed. Your voice don't appeal to people no more. You know, the music move on. We want to hear fresher thing. We love your own music, but we just fed up on you. And maybe it's for you to come to the back now and write for other people, produce for other people, because you could see your talent still there, but maybe we just want a new vessel for the music.
You see, but the thing is, when you tell an artist, all right, he go and say, how it could be that? Because people liking Marshall and they're accepting Marshall.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So, and because you know that everybody's pointing out Marshall, right? Marshall is, and they could be like, look, Marshall.
Right.
But then from since then to now, so.
And they would never ever stop and say, well, maybe he's one of one.
Or he makes a lot of effort to change up.
Right. Number one. No, some of them do it. Some of them do make attempts to change up. But what they don't understand is that, okay, fine. Yeah, and yes, there's a lot of nonsense that goes into Marshall hype, right? As there's a lot of things that are uniquely that are unique to stupid Trinidadians in the sense that he doesn't have the same hold on soca lovers around the world. Not saying he's not respected, but he doesn't have the same hold on soca lovers around the world. So it is not simply he's that monstrous of an artist. He really has an effect on us. And some of that is stupidness. Some of that is just Trinidadians love hype thing, whatever. Some sort of connection he built with us and you can't replicate that, right? But I understand where this come from. Sometimes could just be like, okay, you look at this year's show. Marshall didn't. I mean, like yourself, end up coming and saying something in the road march race, but you know. He could have had that show in the middle of January and a sellout. And his artists were looking, but where's that one? He don't have no big music this year. What the hell? Okay, they always telling me, dang, the man quality, he better, he think. Okay, so this year you have nothing. What are they going to see? And you can kind of understand where they're coming from. I kind of feel you, but you have to understand, he's not he. He's one of one.
He's a mommy special child. Yeah, he's not special child. He's not special child.
He's a normal. He's an anomaly. He's one of one. So you can't say, well, because everybody should be treated like him. No, he's special, right? He's special. Just look at the others. Look at others unlike him. You know, look at Destra. Destra had a period where she was reigning, and no, she's not. You understand? No, I mean, I don't want to disrespect her music or whatever, but I think she and all have to admit I ain't really hitting like I used to. You know what I mean? I plenty of artists, same thing with them. So that is the norm. Marshall is the anomaly. So if you are one of the norm, just be happy at a 5-year run. And okay, you want to keep trying? Okay, fine, but don't blame people. Don't get vexed with people, you know? Like, people should like what you singing. The last song I saw from KMC, bro, again, I ain't trying to be disrespectful, but I saw somebody sent me this was a few years ago, could have been 3-4 years ago. You must have seen it. The video, he had bring out a video and it was posted online. Some kind of electricity thing.
Yeah, I think we were still in TTT then, or just in whatever. Yeah. I remember that because I think RKG had interviewed him. I remember he being around the station.
Right. Yeah. And dog, I really rate KMC, Bashment to Soak, all them first experience, all them tune. But that song was shit. That song that was unadulterated shit. That was shit with bone in it, bro. You understand? And he go watch Big Man. I have a big one for the DJs and them, and the DJs ain't playing that. You call, you fight him. No, bro. This what the song is shit.
And the thing is, I don't know if he could catch back, boy. I mean, he had to take some dread innovation, because if you watch you catching now, like be real voice and them catching, and is that the front style?
No, I think if they're humble, if them artists humble themselves, they could more than catch back now. Because now I find the music on a low.
Right.
And that's what I want to move on to in a second. But I think the industry is there for the taking. You just have to be creative and you have to be humble. If you're one of those older artists, you have to be humble, sit down and study what really going on, and you could fit in real nice now, because the music it's in the basement right now, but the music in the basement I find. And I know people get vexed and think and break, but it's reality.
No, I mean a lot of people don't think this year was one of the better years for soca. What I would admit is was one of the better years for road march. In terms of competition,
right? Because all the music was subpar.
Yeah, right. So I think so in terms of that,
there was no runaway from the beginning.
Yeah, right. But I agree. I think people would agree with you that this year wasn't the best year in terms of music, and yes, it requires some deep introspection. But I also think, to be fair, I think normally the avenue in which they were creating music, they didn't have the avenue.
As they would COVID? Yeah. Yeah, but okay. All right. I would say even the last carnival, the music wasn't up there. Even before this one, 2020.
2020?
Yeah. And if we talk about whether he could catch, Iowa win the road match in 2020. Iowa performance since I was a little boy.
Yeah. But to me, that song was a monster, though.
No, it was. No, that song was a monster. But I felt like the music in general that year was not up there. I think there was... I'm trying to remember the year.
That's the year with their promoter and thing.
No, what I'm saying, that I know the music from that year, but I'm trying to remember if I could identify the last year where I felt music, soca was in a good place.
I just keep going back to the era with Runaway. You see, remember Runaway with Bungie and Cohen and Baddest. I think it was from Destra.
Yeah.
Action from TC.
Yeah.
You see,
2014. There was a period between 2010 and 2015, and people would say the music got too groovy. But I think that was a year, though that was a stretch where you could say the soca was headed in the right direction.
Yeah. When Cohen, I think Bacchanalis, too real.
Yep.
You see them years?
Yeah. I see.
Oh, cool.
You see Marshall, oh God, what's the tune? It's my favorite Marshall ever, dog.
Epic?
No, not Epic.
Haunted. Yeah, boy. Yeah.
That period, the period of Haunted, and even oh gosh, I was listening to the rhythm just the other day.
Even Epic is a big tune too, eh?
Epic was bad too. Bad too. What you call it? Is Jamban rhythm? Is Jamban was the name of that rhythm? With where all them women come from, daddy. The Kess on that rhythm, then the Marshall on that rhythm. Yeah. Boy, that period I find from about I want to say 2010 to about 2016, the music was in a good space then. I find ever since we've been struggling. And you could say, people would say the power was fading in them times, right? And maybe that's true. But soca, not just Trinidad soca, I guess soca in general was in a good place because we might have been hitting the groovy and the foreigners was hitting
the power.
The power.
And you will block out tunes too.
Right. But let me say in the past, well, okay, COVID. But this year for sure, nobody in hitting because I ain't hear nothing from Grenada, I ain't hear nothing from Barbados, I ain't hear nothing from Trinidad over the past 9 months to get any indication that soca is up there. So I think, or heading up there. So I think artists like KMC, I think artists like M1. I say the fellas who talented and versatile, you could more than hit it out here, though. You could more. I mean, who expected Bungie to come with the biggest tune for the season? I mean, Bungie's not shit on, but I'm saying nobody would have thought Bungie would have a road march shout by himself. You know what I mean? Although he didn't win it by himself, kind of. You know what I mean? But nobody thought, and a song like that too. A song like that, hard-fed song, nobody would have think that would have been, you know? So...
Well, I mean, I thought so from the earlies.
No. But I mean, if before the season started, if somebody told you a song like that...
You would not understand what you're saying. You would not...
You understand?
You would not feel like...
and you feel, why KMC can't do a tune like that? You know what I mean? I don't see why not. But he had to humble himself. He had to he had to work with the right producer and come out with something that could stand up out there. Now, whether you get... we will see how much the industry hate him, because if he come out with a monster and he get fight, well, then he had right to feel like he want to burn on the place, but
the thing is, so is it that he believes or people believe that the industry hate his new music, him and his new music? Because what I realize, because he started to go to these fests and sing his old music, right? He probably sang his new song too, but obviously nobody recorded that because it wasn't that great. Right? Probably does.
That's when everybody's go bar.
Right? But what I realized is that the radio station started to play his own music again. Right? I mean, they never really stopped, but you wouldn't really get his old music playing in the prime time a carnival on radio, right? Because normally program directors tell, hey, listen, once we head along the home stretch, it's only new soca, right? They're really going back. And I hear a couple radio stations playing KMC music, like the old music. And I was like, this is strange. And like, I mean, like...
I think that might have been because the music was so shitty this year again. Because I went Juve and on the road, it was like, after a while, the DJ and them, like, all right, we in 2023, we had to... But it was real old music, dog.
And what is pissing me off with that way? Because I see a couple people complaining about that, right? The DJs only playing the old music. Because here we're going, right? I don't know how all this self-esteem set up. But when I come to DJ, if I have any sort of pride in myself, I want to make them people move. I want people to dance. This is not a listening party for you to get familiar with the soca. Right? All you need to get out, all who come in party and want to hear the music to get accustomed to it, this is not the time. This is not the place. Go on YouTube in your free time and get acquainted with the music. So when I play it, all you go move to it. But I can't be coming to play music and you want me to play the new music for this? This song nice, boy. Hear that word. When I come in to play music, I am coming to see people move. I want to see people whine. I want to see people, jump, people hand in the air, whatever the case may be. If that is not happening, my self-esteem will be affected, and I'm going to play what I know is going to get the crowd moving. You understand what I'm saying? That is what's going to happen.
No, but the thing is, I talk about Juve morning. There's not people trying to get familiar with music anymore. People know the music, and it's just that you could tell the DJs they know the 4 or 5 tunes this year that is kind of make a scene, but then after that you can't keep playing that over and over. Right. Well, after a while they did start playing that over and over. After a while that's what they did, and that's when I get like, I ready to go home because they really just playing the same thing over and over. But prior to that phase, the few hours before they hit that, dog, like we had I don't know who tell them or something, but somebody tell, hey, stick to 2023, and I when started just play the same shit over and over. But prior to that, it was old music. And why is that? Because the music this year, dog, I mean, the road match, right? Congrats to Bungie. Teeth in my head, because...
Unfair.
Right. Tuco say that is how they register the song. Bungie and Fiance said that's how them had to put it out. Right? Don't blame me. That's how the song come registered to we. As a duet. Confusing thing is, I'm watching TTT News this evening. after they had the issue with Peter Minshall.
I'm not gonna say you know them kill Peter Minshall, So people, I just want to stick a story, just stick deep in this here. People who infuriated in a group as in because TTT killed Peter Minshall, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, horse, TTT killed Sprang and he was an employee. Right? He was an employee. They could have called Sprang's wife and found out, hey, you want to live in again.
And if they couldn't get Sprang wife number, they could have called several employees in there, like myself.
Yeah.
And I could have given them my number and they would have called Sprang.
Right?
And
so they kill the own employee though. If they kill their own employee, they don't kill anybody though. Just saying. Right?
them wild inside there. And you know they had the audacity to come and blame the I don't know who was the announcer, who they hired to work to do the broadcast now for the parade of the bands. They're saying it's a contractor, right? I don't even know if contract is the right term they want to use in that context, but it's someone contracted by the company, right? But they're trying to say it's not an employee of TTT. They try to distance themselves from it as if. No, they did say, although it's a contractor, we are still ultimately responsible. But why mention her as a contractor? What difference does it make? The point is, he was on your broadcast, and you and even in the statement admitted that the announcement came through their announcement in-house announcement network.
Right.
So that's how the person was able to repeat it on air because it came from them. Right. So where's the point of mentioning that there was a contractor, whoever, I don't know who they hire, whoever they hire to do it, that to do the broadcast. But anyway, so they start by saying, the newsreader, I ain't want to call his name, says, and he's reading a script. He says, Bungie won his first ever solo road match, right? So he says this. Then the report starts, and the reporter who's doing the voiceover for the story says, congratulations to Ian Alvarez and Fayan Lyons. The duet copped the blah, 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 blah. Right? Then she goes on in her voiceover to say, Fayan Lyons took to social media to congratulate her husband on his solo win. What is happening? What is taking place? It just, in that one story, there was so much confusing shit that I don't understand. No, okay. Tuko put it out and have the two names. Tuko clearly had people confused, so Tuko put out a statement later in the day saying, hey, do hang we?
Right.
That's how they register the song, so that's how we had to put it out, right? Okay, cool. So TTT, in their reporting, could either decide it was a duet or a solo win.
or you could give the news like that too. It's confusing to us too. I mean, you don't need to say it like that, but you could say, well, there's some confusion in the
exactly.
But they're saying this and Fian saying this and Tuko saying this and they can give me right. But hey,
it is madness. But yes, so the tune has won, right? It was you did say that you felt it was going to win. I would say prior to going out on Juve morning, I wouldn't have had any doubt it was going to win. Not because I rate it as a road match, but I wasn't seeing anybody hyping anything else, right? I know people was talking about Nyla and the thing, but I didn't really. From just the things I was seeing and from people talking, it didn't sound to me like anybody had any doubt that anything else could win. Went out on Juve morning, I saw this real push in this Nyla, bro.
Yeah.
Real push in this song. And so I actually felt like they might actually have a chance that it wouldn't win, right? In the end, it did. And I can't say it's the best road match song I ever hear, but because I am also one of those people that don't feel the song had to have stage, them kind of thing. But for the first, because remember, I didn't go nowhere. So my first experience of it was a road experience for Juve. And I just didn't find it was tune for the road.
All right, so going back to like Fatima, right? When both of them perform their songs, right, at different parts of the party, the Bungie got a bigger performance. It could be because Bungie's years of experience and command of the crowd and voice and delivery. However, as time passed, I saw people enjoying themselves more to the skinny and I don't know whose song is that. Whose song is that? Anyhow, it's Nyla's song, right? Like to be fair, let me be honest. To the Nyla, I saw more people, like really enjoying themselves.
Yeah.
Because as I say, it's at the crescendo and the way it's set up is like you're building up, and then it just break away. And I saw real people, and to be fair, I started to get kind of worried for the Bungie in the later half because it started to seem like the Nyla thing was catching up. However, I'm still confused with Tuco's list. They have Nyla name and they have a semicolon and an and nothing after. I'm real confused there. What we doing? Is it that we were going to just try and say Nyla alone sing the song?
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Only she was registered as the artist competing for the road march.
Right? Because the thing is, and I think we spoke about this on the podcast, but it is Nyla's song alone. There's a version of that song that came out first with Nyla alone. And then Skinny went on it, right? So is it that is what you present, and even though you know the Skinny remix, or if you want to call it that, is the one that really bigger and is the one people would have played. You understand? That's where they count. You understand what I'm saying?
I don't know.
And if you understand what I'm saying, because if you put down Nyla alone,
right, and but that's not what was played on the road.
But
right.
You feel them old people in Tuco can differentiate the difference.
Old people.
You understand?
You disrespectful. So the man walking Tuco can be young like you or me.
Because they might have been probably a better organization. I don't know.
You're wicked, though.
Right,
You're wicked. Now, I know the heads of Tuco might be older, but the people working, the organizers, they must have a PRO and other members of staff who could well be young people.
Probably
young, vibrant people, professionals.
Hopefully, I don't know.
But I don't know. I don't know if. But every time I've heard about it being talked about in the media as the song competing, they refer to Nyla and Skinny.
Right.
Yeah, even in the TTT report,
the thing is
confusing.
Most people say nah, but what Tuco puts out, Nyla.
But how you feel about that song though?
I understand that the song was built to be a road march song, right? I didn't like Nyla's part of the song in the early part of it. But here I would also say, if you hear that song without Skinny, especially the starting, it reminds you of a Nickelodeon song or a Disney song, right?
Yeah.
Because like even the remix, like they change up the instruments some more and make it a little more impactful, right? So if you hear it without Skinny, it is be like, hey boy, I could see you're cheering liking this,
right?
But then when they put Skinny in it, I think the song changed. The song is a completely different song, a monster song with Skinny in it. Yeah, I think my thing is Skinny saved that song. Skinny Fabulous. That Skinny Fabulous song, as far as I can see. She friggin' just sing little backups and little chorus or something, but it's Skinny Fabulous song.
I was real glad that it didn't win the road match because I just don't like that song.
Serious?
Yeah, I don't like the song.
Nah, that song has started growing, my boy. That started growing, man.
Listen, the reason why I don't like this song is because I find the song outside of the chorus, almost everything else in the song is not good. Not good. Nyla, there's too much auto-tune on Nyla's voice. I find the song to be clumsily constructed lyrically. That is why this at certain points the song like they're singing a little off key. And big respect to Skinny, man is an artist, but he really shouldn't be harmonizing. Yeah, so I said that was every outside of when that chorus comes in, everything else I find is rubbish. And there's so much of it too. You know what I mean? There's so much of before the chorus comes in. I just like it's like this is a bad song, but the chorus save it. The beat that drops when the chorus comes in, everybody's forget that the rest of the song is not good. And I mean, you can say that about plenty soca that the hook is the thing that catch you, but outside of the hook, it's not awful. I find if you take the hook, if you take that part of the song, and I'm talking now, I'm trying to remember how the choruses go. For some reason, the Marshall and Destra only stick in my head, right? It's
so
this stage,
which part?
that's the only thing in my head right now. But ultimately, until that jump like I never jump, wave, like, right. Until that part starts, I find this song just awful. So it's annoying to my ears, you know, and it's not, you know, I like Nyla's voice. I always say I like her voice, but there's too much auto-tune on the voice, dog. And the lyrics of the song just so clumsily constructed.
But to be fair, right? Do you think that you will criticize it from this angle because you are a major hip hop fan? If you understand what I'm saying.
What do you mean?
Because I think being a hip hop fan or a fan of other genres of music where the song kind of is constructed in a way to tell a story and you understand what I'm saying? That you would find that this, because I think it seems playing them that the soca that has to be real big is the ones that don't make, that is not constructed well.
No, and listen, and I even say, when I say it was clumsily constructed, I mean the lyrics, the reason why this is how it sounds to my ear, but it sounds like when the beat is slow and before the crescendo kicks in, it sounds like the artists are struggling to fit the words into the beat.
Right.
You know, it doesn't flow smoothly. Like how Bunji's lyrics flow smoothly. He flows on the rhythm. Or even like the song as I told you I'd like to from what's this girl name again? Not Nessa Preppy. Jadel. Jadel, right. Yeah. Right. The lyrics not hard. It's not it's Henny Penny lyrics. It's nursery rhyme lyrics, but it flows on the beat. Was it push back your body, girl? Like, it flows on the beat. When you listen to them trying to sing that part before the chorus comes in, it's like, you know, and Skinny harmonizing, songing off, and the lyrics not flowing on the beat properly. And I find like they're trying to say like real complex things in that, you know, like what am I listening to? I just feel like if I'm not listening to a soca song, but listening to like a bad R&B, like a bad ballad.
And that's what I tell you. So if you hear the version without Skinny, you would swear that there's a pop song. There's a pop.
And a bad one.
Right?
Yes. A not very good one.
But it sounds like it's a pop song from like, you know when you're watching Nickelodeon and things, all them is breakout in song? Yeah. Or Disney.
Like Ariana Grande when she used to be on Disney or Nickelodeon.
And that's the vibe I get from it. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And to me, I mean, that's not a bad thing for that, if you understand.
No, I don't know. I haven't heard that version with her alone. I heard it, but I can't remember it.
Yeah.
But if it sounds like how it sounds now, just without Skinny or so not harmonizing properly, then I would think it wouldn't even be good for that setting. I think it would be a bad song. It would be a bad, because it's way too much autotune on that girl's voice, dog. Like, whose idea was that? But
who produced that song, right? I can't remember.
But it was saved by the, you know, the jump like you never jump wave. Like, you see that part? Okay, I get it. I understand that is what people waiting for, and that's what and that's what people jump to, and I get that. But I just find everything that lead up to that is just awful, and then in between. Before we come back to that, it's awful again. But not as bad because they don't go as slow. You know, they're not.
They didn't break down as much.
You know what I mean? But I just find that song. I would have, as much as I didn't like the Marshall and Destra, I would have get that. I would have rather see that win.
Serious?
Yeah.
The Patrice and Marshall kind of grew on me too. I didn't like his Patrice verse in that song. Patrice's verse was a bit too low in terms of. The vibe in it was a bit too low for the rest of the song.
Right,
because that song, dog, you could picture it again, a proper broke out to that song, you know.
It had some vibes. It had some vibes.
But then Patrice part of the song kind of took it down now. Right? No knock on Patrice, but it just didn't work out. Like in this song. The chorus was real good. The earlier part of the song was real good, but I don't know how it went on. You know, she needed to bring that JDL vibes.
And that is what I wanted to get to as well, dog. You don't find just everything about this carnival was off. Nothing was on point. Every song had a good part and then they fall down. It's like everything just seemed weird. Like you know, Juve, this was the worst Juve I ever went.
Serious.
Worst, hands down now, though. Hands down without a doubt. And I'm trying to get some numbers from like whoever could track the numbers. Because, they talk about downtown was dead, but dog, I was in the West End, was not very lively either. I got into Port of Spain by about after 3, right? The band we were going to meet was assembling in Marval. So I came straight down the road, straight down Rights Road. Normally I can't do that. Normally I encounter some issues trying to pass in front by John D, even on a Juve morning, right? Barriers just had to come up. You can't turn up by power chain and all that. None of that, right? I could have driven straight, like when I used to go to work.
Right.
Up on that side, right? Reached to the corner of, that's Colville. And
My
Tragate.
yeah.
And Tragate Road. And there's nobody, bro. There's nobody in the road,
Is that the roadblock as usual?
No. There were no police. There was a little bar in front of Mario's there. And had some fellas in front Lyman. And that was it. When I was crossing and I looked down Tragate Road, I just saw sprinkles of people. Nothing. Reach up. The band was smaller than the year. We played that same band. The last time we in 2020, the numbers were much bigger. All right, that band didn't make so much this year, right? Okay, no problem. They ended up merging with our next band, so it ended up feeling like a decent vibe because they ended up with a decent amount of people, right? But the band was smaller. Dog, I don't know if you use normally Juve, but there's be a time where once you're Juve in the Woodbrook, St. James, Queen's Park area there, is end up somehow by that roundabout by King George V Park. And that has always be a time when the Juve does go sky high because a bunch of bands is stick up there and you could leave the band you in and jump in our next band and and everything is everything and everybody muddy and everybody drunk and everybody and none of bros we reached there and it was smooth sailing by that roundabout. We turned, went back up Hay Street, went back up towards the Savannah and back up towards Maraval. Nothing. People say, it's downtown that didn't have nothing because downtown stigma and thing. And they complain and they want to bring Juve back downtown and Mass back downtown. But I find there was nothing in the West either, When I say nothing.
Yeah, not the way I accustomed to.
No, bro.
The thing is, I've never, I don't think I've ever, well, as a big person, I've never played Juve, right? I went to see Juve as a younger person. And then I started DJ. And every time I come out for Juve, it will be DJing. So, back I don't know what you're talking about because back in the days playing with Red Jukers and up in the back there by Sinclair or whatever, all that area, up in the back there, Federation Park area. He would bounce up. Back in the day, Yellow Devils, Caesar's Army. You understand what I'm saying? And they clock
Caesar's on the road then?
Yeah, in Red Jukers time, yeah.
Okay, all right.
Right? And is real action.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You bounce up them chocolate band and them and whatever. So I understand what you're saying. Even up to the last time I DJ'd on the road, I think it was with iRave. And I remember reaching to by the Savannah Day and that roundabout by Maraval. And all this sort of bacchanal is
problems. Dog, we never had to encounter a band walking on the other side of us, passing on the other side of us. This, I don't try to remember. That never happened this year. That's something that always happens,
and you have to let people move.
Yeah.
And they come to one side of the truck.
And then the music started to get confused because nobody lowering down the music. They're passing, playing the same, playing me, blasting on each other. None of that, bro. None of that. There was none of that. As I tell you, normally and I play with a million different, because I really like Juve, right? So Juve is my thing. We always come out on Juve morning. And I play a million different bands. And once there's play, because me and play downtown Juve, I know I never paid to play in a band that went in downtown Juve. I've been downtown for Juve as a youth man. But since I started paying for Juve, I never went to no band that does go downtown, right? So it's always Foreshore, Woodbrook, St. James thing. And as I tell you, when you reach that section there by Pizza Hut there, the roundabout, by Harvard's, there's because all the not stormers, but the people who just come out on Juve morning, that is where they does assemble. And so when bands meet there with the Stormers and the thing, and it has just be crazy. That every time I've gone to Juve and lost people, it has be there. It's be there. We reach there and it just get chaotic because you start to see people in an next band over there that you, hey, thing, all you play with that, you think, and you go, wait, where my band gone? There was no here. And, right, and you had to run, check. There was none of that, dog. We reached down by that corner by Pizza Hut. We make the rounds, came down, that street with Long Circular Road, right, and come down by Cords Day and turn, and then went by Roxy. Nothing. You could see some bands a little further down. Dog, when it was time to leave, normally us leaving Port of Spain, there's be real pressure. Block here, band thing in here, band thing in here. We had to wait on one band. We had to we had to leave we leave out of Maraval from by the gym, the fitness, the gym, you know where the Guardian.
Yeah.
Right, excuse me, the Guardian Life Rock is right in the back there. Right. Leave from there. Last time we had to go over Santa Cruz though, because you couldn't move, you couldn't go down Maraval Road. This time we went down Maraval Road, it had a little stick because Chocolate City was like coming out on Maraval to go by the Savannah.
Yeah, Chocolate City still around too?
Yeah. Didn't have no big set of numbers, but they were there. And then when the police finally get them to kind of pull to the side so they could open up a lane, that was a zoop, and we was up the road in no time. Over the Lady Young and up the road. There was no sign. Normally, you leave Juve anytime, dog. You go by any open KFC, pressure, dog. Pressure, you go there, and because people like rain, people in the drive-thru, people inside, muddy thing. We went to the drive-thru, get through, and that. It was weird, dog. Something about this carnival was off.
And then, of course, you had Oli Bacchanal with Tribe on them too. With costumes.
Right, yeah.
Had a real costume issues though.
Yeah.
So there's a next
thing that
glitch
that them don't normally have.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what went on. One of the people who I know on Tribe committee was telling me that a major problem they had was that a lot of foreigners bought into the band this year, right? Tribe itself. And when they gave people like a time for them to come and collect their costumes, a lot of them, they didn't come because they weren't in the country. So what happened is everybody kind of fall at the same time trying to come to get their costumes at the same time. And then people, they had some issues with the costumes themselves and everybody trying to fix the issues. So they end up in a lot of commotion now, boy. I don't know. That is their take on it. But the thing is, Tribe, as I say, had a lot of issues as well. What I would admit though, there has been with the social media growing and the popularity of social media, TikTok and these things, there has been a lot of people who not accustomed to coming to Trinidad who came. There are a lot of people who don't have any Trinidadian friends or Trinidadian family, probably friends. When I say not Trinidadian friends, but friends who living outside and have Trinidad heritage, right? So they know about Trinidad. And came, a lot of them, and I think we would have gotten a decent amount of exposure from that. I would also say we have the opportunity, with the music not being the best, but a lot of those people not having the experience from before.
Knowing what is better music.
Right? And come and they still had a time. And we have the opportunity to build from here. And that's what I think I'm looking forward to. I think if Jamaica... One of the major problems with Jamaica Carnival is Jamaica don't really produce their own soca now, boy. You understand what I'm saying? So it's still heavily dependent on Trinidad artists and the other artists around. So, and because a lot of people saying, hey, you have to look out for Jamaica because the cost apparently, I tell you, when you watch the cost, so much people pay, dog. Them foreigners and them. Right? I think I'd send you a video.
Yeah.
Right? With what a lot of them paid. And some of them telling you, shit, nah, dog, I never spend that kind of money to go to Jamaica or to go Barbados to play mass. This thing ridiculous, right? Then again, nobody enforcing it, so I don't understand why they come to complain on TikTok after you spend your money, right?
Right.
You could have just checked the thing and be like, nah, boy, dog, boy, I
too much
I good.
Yeah.
But But you hearing some people saying, hey boy, Jamaica could kind of push me out.
And then remember, these other islands are bigger tourist attractions in general. So you have more, Jamaica is a place that more people know about and would want to go to, period. So if Jamaica Carnival builds now to the point where, well, now this is an added reason I'm going to Jamaica, which is a big deal, a big draw in the first place. There's a lot more to do outside of the festival, a lot more to see, a lot more, is a much larger island and there's much more beautiful terrain. I would have to admit that there's much more beautiful terrain in Jamaica than there is here in Trinidad. So there's a lot more to see. There's a lot more that would be, to many people, what they might consider more culturally relevant because they know more about it than anything to do with Trinidad. So it's a bigger draw. So if their carnival takes off too, then that's even more reason for people to not bother with this tiny place.
Well, that's one of the things people say. And they think that, if Jamaica catches up and if Jamaica catch a nice link, Trinidad could be another problem.
What I hope they don't do, because I think this will be the game changer, if they start to infuse dancehall into the thing. And I say that because you've been to Labor Day, I'm sure.
Yeah.
You see what it's doing Notting Hill Carnival. Because Trinidad and all the small islands generally, the diaspora is smaller than the Jamaican diaspora. So anything Caribbean somehow becomes Jamaicanized.
Well,
right?
I think we need to explain that to the people. For some of the people who don't know. The thing is, those festivals in Notting Hill, in Labor Day, those festivals are Caribbean festivals.
Yeah.
They aren't. So even though you hear Notting Hill Carnival,
they didn't start off like that. Notting Hill Carnival started off as a carnival, as a version of West Indian style carnival, not a Caribbean festival.
Right.
But what happens is that Caribbean culture, and because once Jamaica start to add their, you can't really have something of a Caribbean nature without having a buy-in from Jamaicans over there, right? Because they are the largest, they make up the largest numbers. So they have to be to come in some way, shape, or form. And they have started to bring their own culture, the Jamaican dancehall into the mix. So you would see in Notting Hill Carnival, you see floats. Some of them even play no soca, right? You understand?
Yes, and again, it's getting Labor Day too.
Yes.
Yeah.
So my thing is, that is when Jamaica could be the real game changer. If they start to infuse what is already a more popular art form, an art form with more global appeal already. I'm not saying it's better. It's not about who better. I'm simply saying it is already something that has a greater appeal. If they start to infuse that into it, then it could mean that it could start to pull more foreigners. It will start to garner more interest from people, because they're people whose only experience with Caribbean culture is Jamaican culture. Now you tell them, well, there's a festival where we could kind of mix that with what we just bring now, the kind of wassiness and the fete and the street party and the float and the costumes, and you find a way to infuse the dancehall in there, or the Jamaican culture in that, then that could be when you can't keep up again, because now you start to run their race now. Now you just have to bring them artists to here to So we have to make sure that we don't let that happen by keeping the vibes up there. Right? Keeping the music up there, keeping the vibes up there, keeping everything.
And keep running ahead of them. We had to use the music to keep running ahead of them.
Yeah.
Keep the festival music festive.
Yes.
You understand what I'm saying?
So make sure, because that is what will make the difference. I see Major Lazer and they win Rio Carnival. Post. I see somebody ask if we and Jillionaire Warren, because the Major Lazer official Twitter page post up Rio Carnival, greatest show in the world. And you saw what was going on. They were on top of float, and you saw what looked like millions of people in the streets, right? Now, one of the things people always say is that the difference between Rio Carnival and Trinidad Carnival is that when people say Rio Carnival is the greatest show on earth, it's like, yeah, that's a show. That's a production. Right. That's a professional thing.
And I think that's one of the things I wanted to say when we started this podcast. Sorry, I didn't say it earlier. Trinidad and Tobago Carnival is not the greatest show on earth. Right? It's not the greatest show on the face of this earth. What it is the greatest party.
Right.
On the face, probably the greatest party.
Well, that's the thing. If you go on Major Lazer page, you'll see that what they were performing at was not what we know as the flow with a professional dancer coming up to the top, and that is a part of Rio Carnival. But they were just having a street party.
Serious?
Yeah, that was just millions of people. Well, not millions, but it looked like about 1 million people in the street just jamming. Now they're jamming to Brazilian music, I don't know, right? Or at least it's sounding like maybe they playing like a EDM version of or EDM remix of something in Portuguese, right? I'm not familiar with the music. But it looked like a real wicked street party, right? Now, if we could make sure that people understand that, that's cool, but try that with hard wine or top striker or hard wine is a fast wine is always wanted to say, or too real or. Was this next? Was he Marshall and Iwan Kess? You know what I'm saying? Soca Kingdom. Them when you bring the people together and you give them that vibes, no dancehall artist could produce that.
Right.
No artist from flicking Brazil could produce that. That vibes, you can't match that, bro. Soca is what gives you the best of both worlds. Because yes, they were having a street and you've seen people grinding, but it's not, the music didn't sound like the best music to Brockway. So if you come here and you hear some proper jamming tune, dog, mixed with energy tune, mixed with, then you realize, it really had nothing like this.
Yeah, so I think that, as you say, once we keep the vibes of the music up, I personally do like the Nicki's part in that song.
Up to now I hear it, you know.
Serious.
Yeah.
It's not that great. Her voice is not that great. It's a little confusing to me. But I mean, that's fine. I accept it. I think it's great. I think it will stumble across some of her fans who probably would know nothing about Trinidad music.
I just vex that it's that song. That song not good at all.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
That song not good at all. Bro.
I was wondering, is it Marshall who brought out it or Desha? Remember she had Desha and Patrice on one of her songs, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, call Marshall around. And it's only when she bring Desha and them to her thing. You understand? She on a song with
Marshall.
You understand? So
I just wish it was another song. I just find that song that's.
It wasn't the best situation, but I'm still thankful that we see what kind of mileage we get out it. Even though a lot of Trinidadians, there's push some hate about whatever. That is people. But in terms of, I don't know. I think we're in an okay place. We're not in the best place, but I think for the outside influence and the reach we starting to get outside, because apparently it's a real big thing now for people in England, people in Canada, in the States to eat Trinidadian food now. But like it's a real big thing. So, like they see Mark Queens and them come down. But then that always kind of used to happen a little bit. But now, every day you could go on TikTok and some American is going to try Trinidadian food and mispronouncing the names of stuff because they didn't have a clue. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They hear this, right? And they're doing it. So, and
somebody sent me a video the other day of a man. How you pronounce it, boy? I remember it started and they saw something about like they're saying something like wait for it. So I don't realize. I don't. And he holding he wasn't holding it. It was on the table. A rotina. So talking to an American accent. I expected him to say roadie. The thing we are accustomed to. But the man says some kind of like he say road eye or something. Yeah. A road eye, and it's like. What the fuck? No, I never heard that one before.
Yeah. That's what the only Nigerian fella.
No, it was a brown skin chubby American guy. I don't know.
All right. I know you're talking about.
Yeah.
Watch that. He did that thing, right? And obviously Trinidadians, Trinidadians the baddest keyboard warriors that when he faces it, right? So they went for him before we mispronounce it, and the man decided, hey, well, let me come to Trinidad.
Right,
and the man pick up and came to Trinidad, and I shock obviously, not out here. People had to give him a little one in how dog, go in them places. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he came and he said, he tried different types of food and whatever. So we getting some exposure out there and the carnival helping and whatnot. So I think we're in a good place. We have opportunity to reset. They could perform and sing all over the place over the next year and build back your vibe.
I just hope next year I want to see what because listen, dog, after that Juve experience, because like I tell you, I wasn't feeling to go nowhere this year. The reasons why I wasn't out there, but I really wasn't feeling it. I didn't feel no way about the fact that I wasn't going anywhere this year, right? And I would jump out Juve morning, and it's like, it was so shitty. I just had to feel like, dog, like, is it time to just hang up the jersey in the bleachers and say that, is it there? I done there? Because I don't feel like this thing ain't really, I know, in holding any interest anymore. But let me see how next year is. Let me see how next year goes. Let me see if we get it right. Maybe, or is this cobweb? I see somebody post on Twitter, it's as if we had a little rust. And we had to work out the rust. Well, and maybe my next year go be the real mother of all carnivals.
The thing is, as I was discussing with some men, is like, plenty times you get your creativity and you get your vibe, whatever. You just be outside now, boys. Be performing. You through the year, you're moving from island to island, and you might watch our next artist perform, right? And you watch and you realize, oh boy, that hooking, that catching. Let me try and put something like that in my music. And you go somewhere else and you catch and you see something else and you say, yeah, boy, let me try and put some of this. But not having the ability to do that for 2 years, I think it could have affected the creative process. So I'm hoping that
they catch back that. Yeah. I also, as I say, I still believe that COVID had some effect on people coming out this year.
Well, let me tell you why I don't want to say that, right? What you see people, man, like?
Yes.
I think money had a part to play in it because them pavement limes are the biggest I've ever seen in.
No, but Juve is what I feel, right? What I feel is that normally you would see fetters, limers, and normal people who just come out. And I feel this year all you saw was the fetters. You understand? The people who committed to this thing are the people that came out. Because, as I said, Juve, you had to pay to jump up in Juve. Normally the people who clog up the road on Arpita Avenue on a Juve morning the majority of them ain't paying patrons. You have to pay. You don't have to pay a cent to come out on the road, dog. Juve, and especially Juve morning, you don't have to pay a cent to come out on the road, and there was nobody there. From what I heard, downtown wasn't much different. Not just town, not downtown, wasn't much different in terms of spectators. People saying there was nothing. They weren't the vendors downtown was complaining like hell, but even the ones in St. James complained sales was low. So that free coming out to watch is free. You know what I mean? So I feel like what happened was the events that were well patronized were patronized by fetters, right? Or people who say I will go out once, but I ain't going. In other words, okay. If you're looking for an excuse not to, like, it's not really your cup of tea in the first place, like Juve is not really a cup of tea, plus I afraid that thing out there, nah, I good. I just ain't go bother. No, I might get me to go one event because I really like that event and my family come down and they want to go this and whatever. But generally, people would have, I still feel it had something to do with it because I can't understand why they would.
Well, I mean, I can't totally disagree with you because I see people make Master Magic costume and thing to come out on the road.
Yeah, there was a girl in Juve band in N95.
Yeah. So
you know what I'm saying? So it was, and I still saw people saying things like online. I'm talking about like when they seen them lying in front of Fet, all they seen is COVID. Yeah. Let me stay my ass home, them kind of thing. Now I don't feel them people really die, but what happens is. That's already the cup of tea in the first place. So, that's an added excuse to not bother to jump out.
Oh, you know, no money. Right. And they decided to use COVID as an excuse.
Yeah, that's you understand? But I don't know what it is. So hopefully by next year, all them things, wherever it is caused the vibes to be so weird this year, so off this year. And I know some people will be watching and thinking, boy, I had fun this carnival. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. But,
I being honest with you, after going Fatima, I felt like I could have hit her one more. But I do not. I felt like I was missing something. I felt like I was missing my days, my while out days. And I think for the success of my marriage, I shouldn't go anyway. Right? Yeah, because I could be very loose now, boy, when I over there. So
Fatima, boy.
No, I not saying.
Reality for my head.
What I saying, Fatima was just a taster. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
And then because, as I say, come across some birds in Fatima there who, as I say, dog, I don't know. I like, what's she name? What's she name again? I don't know. You understand?
Yeah.
Whatever. And then, so I started like, wait, boy, dog, boy, if I run out here, I could have a time, boy.
Well, listen, I have always insisted that there's nothing that can beat a good fete for fun times. You know, there's nothing that could beat a good fete. You could go a dance hall party, you could go, but there's nothing like a good fete, bro. I mean, I've gone to all kinds of parties in my life, all kind of nightclubs, all over the place, right, all over the world, and I would say, Franco, man, there's nothing like a good soca fete, bro. So if you could replicate vibes like I've experienced in the past, if you could bring back some of them insomnia experiences, some of them experiences outside in the crop over, or if you could bring back some of them experiences, yeah, I would jump out hands down. But I just didn't get the feeling like that was out there this year. Now, again, I want to sound like I'm some sort of veteran, you know. But I see some people talking about even soca this year. I was like, "Cause you clearly ain't really fed that much." Because I know people who went soca and who's real fed and things. I was like, "Yeah, dog, I went, but it wasn't. This wasn't one of them years." You know what I mean? And people trying to make me believe, why? That's the greatest thing since sliced bread. Nah, you're not custom. You're not custom.
No, we don't know that time. One thing we had to touch on, boy, before we switch off for this carnival topic, Bacchanal Road, boy. Apparently, a lot of people have a lot of ill feelings towards Bacchanal Road.
Why?
Well, I've been hearing people talking about it. So, some people are saying because how difficult it was before to get the tickets and whatever. Nah, we're not on Jules. Also, some people are saying that the Bacchanal Road, it had a Bacchanal Road like last year.
Yeah. That was one of the first fets when it came out.
When it came out the lockdown, there's like, nah, that was your shit.
But it was the DJs that made that shit.
Well, I know what they say. One of the people say, nah, they play dancehall. And that person's like, horse, that person's not a person who all pure soca lover, but it's like, horse, when I come Bacchanal Road,
it's
I come for soca.
It's Bacchanal Road. I know it's outside the carnival, but it's still called Bacchanal Road.
Yeah.
It's still trucks going along a track, and you're asking me to come in something resembling a costume.
No, that's what they're saying. They say, you tell me on my Monday where to come out here, that means I'm coming there soca.
Yeah.
Right? Don't give me nothing else.
Yeah.
Right? And that person was real pissed.
Yeah.
So it's like, nah, dog, screw Jews.
Yeah.
Not literally, but and so you see the greens that I catch back.
Yeah.
So Hoppy and them went greens. Couple people went greens. So they say it looked like this is a possible revamp of the greens.
And what that? But wait, no, but the greens wasn't Bacchanal Road. Is something else that's happened that day? It's Bacchanal Blocko or something. So
nah, it was Bacchanal Road and greens was the same day this year.
But before it used to be something else.
So here it was. So you remember back in the day, on the greens, it was Caesar and all of them used to be in the greens.
No, but then he broke off and he had an event on the same day
Bacchanal Road.
No, it wasn't Bacchanal Road.
Nah, it was Bacchanal Road. It was Bacchanal Road in the stadium. Yeah.
To me, like it was... Well, maybe I'm mixing it up. Bacchanal Blocko
Bacchanal was the Carnival Sunday free drinks.
Okay. All right. Well, maybe.
Yeah. So it was Bacchanal Road in the stadium, right?
No, I went the year in the stadium. But I just can't remember that being the same day as the Greens.
Yeah, that's
as Pan Semis.
Yeah, that's the same day as Pan Semis. And the Greens had kind of fall off, and the Greens come and it seems to be catching back now. People went to the Greens.
No, but I been crowding Bacchanal Road this year.
Yeah, but they say it was smaller than the norm, right? And
they had ambush?
Yeah, it had ambush. But the thing is with ambush sell out in a matter of minutes, you know. A matter of minutes to foreigners.
But I hear nothing about that this year, you know.
Yeah.
I hear nobody. As a matter of fact, to be honest with you, other than Bacchanal Road, I haven't heard anybody talk about any one of them. So what does be the Carnival Thursday?
AM Beach. Well, AM Beach. I think it's called AM Beach.
AM Beach, yeah.
Yeah.
They had that again this year?
Yeah, they had that again this year.
Oh, that was?
It looked like it was struggling because somebody's giving away tickets, something on Instagram for it at some point. well, Ambush had sell out long time. Beach looked like it was taking some time to sell out or to sell. So, I mean, it looked like it had a crowd but
I didn't hear nothing about other than Bacchanal Road. I didn't hear anything about any other Caesars events this year.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, everybody's have a run, so his run might be coming to an end, or he may have to rebrand or revamp in some way, shape, or form. I didn't speak to anybody personally who went Bacchanal Road this year. I know people who went the one.
Yeah, well, I talked to Zoom went.
All right.
And Zoom is go and count them thing.
Well, no, but I want somebody to tell me the vibes.
Oh, the party aspect.
The vibes, and that brother's not one of them who could really get a good gauge of the vibes, right? So, but I know people who went the first one coming out to the lockdown, and yes, everybody told me that shit. But everybody complain about the music. Right. But they don't think necessarily complain about dancehall alone. They just say like them DJs forget how to play music.
Right.
And they say like people were so desperate to have a good time, they just real overdrink. So it was real it get kind of wild, and you know what I mean? That's how they explained it to me. But I didn't talk to anybody personally who went back on the road this year. I didn't even see much posts about it either. But I started to realize maybe I just out of the loop now. I was an old man and I don't jump out. So, things going over my head now.
Right.
I'm not the right man to talk to.
But I mean, at the same time, the Greens kind of revamping based on the people I spoke to. Because one of the things that kill the Greens, people who don't know, is that everybody started coming in the Greens and section off for themselves. Because initially how the Greens was, you come inside, you get a ticket, you buy a ticket from Pantry Big when you go. But then you have a band for your crew that you're with.
Yeah.
But everybody can kind of mingle and mix.
Yeah.
And then Scotch and them come and decide, nah boy, we're going to build a Scotch area. That you have a band to reach in the Scotch area. Right? Yeah. And then Caesar's Army do it, and then everybody started kind of build an area.
Yeah.
And then, so now it was segregation. People
But the year I went, it was, I was going from section to section, nobody's jumping.
Well, right. But in the last days, well, back in the Greens, when I used to go in the Greens, that's what it was. And then...
No, it still had the band here, but after a while, that was one of them last years I worked. And, I think it's Zoom self I went with, that I walk across from after my shift done with broadcast Nipan, I walk across there. And I don't know if it's because I had on a media badge, but nobody was jumping me.
Right.
When I was going from the other Heineken section, the other Scotch section, the other Caesar section, and nobody's jumping me anywhere I was going. So they had this segregation, but I don't know if there was like after a while they stopped caring. But when I reached there, it was getting dark and nobody was jumping anybody.
But no, what they did is, you're going on. They had a stage and they were on the section, but the only thing behind the quote-unquote paywall, right, is just the food and the drinks.
Right.
So if you want food and drinks, you had to come in the section to get the food, come in the back to get the food and drinks by a section. But other than that, the stage is open to whoever want to come and watch the performances and whatever the case may be. So they try a different little method.
The Greens never interest me. I actually wanted to go Panorama this year, actual Panorama. But Pantry Bago do a wickedness with that $300 for North Stand. I was like, nah, bro, I don't like pan so much.
You see, that's the old man, boy. Yeah, boy.
Again, bro.
Yeah, boy.
Listen, I tell you when I hear the voice that it make me feel to go Panorama.
Yeah.
And listen, I don't really rate pan in that way, right? But I must admit, having to work it, you get a little appreciation. And the thing is, if I want to go Panorama now, I'm not gonna do like long time, growing up in Belmont, everything going on for Carnival, you're a part of it, whether you're paying or not, right? So Panorama, not really semis, but finals night, used to go down by Savannah and just happen on the Baba Green, right? All them bands used to come up the Frederick Street thing, and they practicing as they're going on the way, and as the one band go off, they push up and then right. So I don't want to hear pan like that no more. If I want to hear pan, I want to go in the stands and listen to it in that acoustics. And I had all intention of going pan finals this year. And then I was like, wait now, $300, bro?
That's a whole different conversation that we had with all them things with Punch and Bago, the Soca Monarch, people going to the 10 million. That's a whole different conversation that we will probably have that next week. Because what's Punch and Bago? And even when we were doing the Greens heavy though, what's tickets for that was like $350, I think,
No, but okay, but the Greens is one thing.
No, what are you talking about? is the amount of money. Because real people used to go there.
Yeah.
And then every year, they balling for money.
Right.
Every year, they go into the government for the government to pay the pan players, right? All this money, like...
Well, remember they have a whole headquarters that never bill, you know, so you can...
So clearly we still don't do any money.
So
that headquarters billing like the church in Laventille, the moment they try to get money from with the band, to build the church in Laventille, that never finished built. That headquarters is the same way. So what are you doing with money, dog?
Rotten on. I don't know. But I just find, I remember North Stand tickets, and that's just when I used to work in Pan. North Stand tickets was $150, bro. How it reach 300, dog? What is that about us? I don't understand. And I would have so much white chairs there. And you know, I watch it on TV. And you know, Joel hosts the first half, and they keep trying to convince people. I just packed down here. It's like, hey, I can see the camera pans to the crowd, dog.
Who's that director, boy? God, boy, dog, boy.
Shannon wasn't.
Serious?
Shannon wasn't. No, but dog, you know, and it's not just because of Shannon. It was bad.
No, I mean, he's one of TTT best directors, right? He and Brandon, right? But Shannon
proper drone shots and things.
Nah, but Shannon, those show the stand. I mean, they again some shots you can't
help it. You can't help it because that's what I'm saying. They're not panning to the crowd to show empty chairs, you know. But the camera has at some point in time to when the band stop and they move off and they're doing the interviews on stage because Rhythm was doing the interviews on stage now. And every time they cut, you have to see the stand. And I see any white chairs. I'm not blind. I'm not blind. So stop telling me it's packed down here. It's not. And I don't know if Pancho Mego can. And listen, I watch up to I couldn't make because as usual they say they're running a tight show. They separate the medium and large bands this year, so they didn't have that marathon show. You know what I mean? But it's still by 12 o'clock is only 8 bands that perform. I started 7 o'clock, bro. So I couldn't make. I can't remember who's the last band I saw. But Despers had performed already. So if you want to say, well, nah, but you know, sometimes the standards be kind of dead until people start to flood in to see the bigger bands, the Despers, the Renegades, whatever. Despers performed 5th. And the stand was half empty.
So, yeah, that's right. Pancho and Bego, if you all want somebody to manage these events for you all, right? The name of the company is Majestic Events, right? So, just letting you all know, right? Because sometimes nothing wrong with when you realize flour, more and water the day itself. To charge people less by the door, you know. You understand what I'm saying? If it comes down to something like this, you understand what I'm saying? We talk more all inclusive, can't do all inclusive because then they got boss, people come and eat and drink.
And right?
And you can cover your costs. But thing like pan and thing, hey, listen. You know, let that be we culture that here going on. If all ain't getting tickets, boy, right? You come down by the door, and if you come down by the door and they come too late, you ain't getting. And then they go, well, boy, next year, if I want to be inside, I got to buy a ticket. I got to pay the money and get the ticket up front. I don't know if something you could consider.
Show starts 7 o'clock and by 9 o'clock only 2 bands perform. This was after Pancho. We go talk up and down about how this time is a tight show they're running. And
the thing is, especially when it comes to large bands, or they do what you want and say what you want, it is taking nearly 20 minutes to get the...
No, the setup. No, it's not even to say, well, okay, it started at 7 o'clock, anthem was sung at 7 o'clock, a band roll on, and then it take however long to get the next. No, the first band didn't perform until after 8.
Right.
And it starts 7.
Right. And okay, so then if it's a case of the band sticking, then you should probably consider deducting points.
But they do, you know, and they do if it take long to set up. You have a certain time, I think it's 10 or 12 minutes to set up. If you go over that, they deduct points. If you go over the 8.5 minutes, you have to... I don't know if it's 8.5 still. I think I heard them saying 8 on the night. But when I used to work, it's 8.5, right? And if you go over that, it's deduct points. Right. But they still don't... They don't care.
Right? And the thing is, if it's supposed to start at 7, that means the first band should be on the stage before 7 o'clock. So that when they sing the anthem and whatever, and they introduce and whatever, you do all your necessaries. It's talk, pan at 7. Right? That's how it is work, right? Just in case I know Chinis don't understand and Chinis are Chini time. And that's what I'm saying. 7 means that you know reaching 7. No. Right? But I know. Right now we
over time.
Yeah.
So we want to touch on anything quickly before we jump out?
As I say, we will discuss the Pancho and Bego, the Soca Monarch. And all them things, because I think we had to discuss them things going forward now, but in our next episode. Some of the ideas I had that I think we need to see implemented, we discuss them things next time.
I just want to give a little update. Now remember, for those who would have listened to the last episode, we were covering the story regarding the lost file that led to the government not submitting a defense to a malicious prosecution lawsuit. And
possibly 9 men winning just over $2 million.
Well, then possibly they won it.
Well, they won, yeah.
And I was laughing at the fact that the AG wants to, or was seeking legal advice in order to try to appeal the default judgment, the granting of the default judgment, right? And I was like, how the you go do that? What is on what grounds they gonna? You failed to you had numerous opportunities to indicate a reason why you can't file a defense, right? But you failed to do so. And considering that there's a malicious prosecution lawsuit where the people are claiming that they would have suffered, greatly at the hands of malicious or incompetent at best government, to now tell them that, hey, we're going to pause paying you and put you through more drama. I just think that would be, a bit crazy. But this is why it's always important to pay attention to the things happening around, because I came across an article in I believe it's the Express. I kind of crop out the banner on the top, so I'm not sure, but I believe it's the Express. And the article is entitled "Trial Can Start Afresh. Ramesh sees hope in Privy Council ruling." I read a little bit and then I just kind of synopsize. All hope is not lost. The government has a lifeline in the form of a recent Privy Council ruling to which it can turn to have the 20 million default judgment granted in favor of 9 former accused for malicious prosecution set aside and have the civil trial started afresh. And it's more than likely that the state will be able to convince the court to have the judgment set aside. Well, it's said, but it should be set aside. And a retrial commenced. This is according to senior counsel Ramesh Lawrence Maraj. He said this in an interview, with the Express yesterday. While Maraj said it was troubling that the civil claim file had disappeared from the state solicitor's department, according to Attorney General Reginald Lamour, SC, the state has every opportunity to have the matter started over, right? Restarted. The Privy Council ruling Maraj was referring to was Lux Locations Limited and Yida Zhang. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. A case out of Antigua and Barbuda, in which final judgment was delivered by the British law lords on January the 31st. Right. I'm not going to bore you with it, but essentially what it is that they are saying that in this ruling, apparently the judges rule that you can have a default judgment applied with whenever there's payment involved, if it is that money is owed to you. But if it is a situation where, so for instance, if I'm suing you for owing me money and you have failed to respond to all of my, submission of documents, claim forms.
That money is kind of mine.
So they in that instance, they are saying that a default judgment may actually be, is okay. It's okay for a default judgment for somebody to be paid via default judgment in those settings. But in a malicious prosecution case, as we deal with here now, it may not be as appropriate to have a judgment, a default judgment applied if the court didn't look at the case itself.
Right.
So what they're apparently claiming is that in this instance, the court didn't actually examine the case presented by the 9 accused, right? So they didn't look at it to see if it had any merit or not. They just went on the fact that there was no response from the defense. So therefore, we're going to grant you the judgment by default and you're going to be awarded damages. And they are saying that this case sets a precedent that the state can use to have that default judgment set aside and at least ask the court to, well, they say order a retrial, right? I don't know why that's the case. If it is you're arguing that I don't see why necessarily a retrial where the state would now get to present its defense. I don't see why that would necessarily be allowed, because what you're claiming is that a default judgment was not appropriate because the court never got a chance to actually look to see if there was any merit in the person's case. They just said, well, nobody presented a defense, so therefore here's your judgment. Well, then they could just let the court look at the case now. The court could just say, okay, cool, we didn't look at it, so let's look at it now. But you had a chance to put forward the defense. You didn't do that. I'm not going to order a retrial where you now get to present your case. You know what I mean? I would probably say, well, yeah, okay, fine. Well, let's look at the case now. Let's look at and see if there's any merit. But again, me legal aficionado or scholar. I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know.
You just have a law degree, but not a lawyer.
Right, I'm not a lawyer. But I'm just saying, I don't understand why they would necessarily have to order a retrial in which would now allow the government to put forward the defense that it claims it has.
Which now could, if they order a retrial and they get you, can I now set the next bad precedent that people could be, lackluster with things.
Yeah,
and
lackadaisical.
And then say, well, hey, now we'll do a retrial. Or say,
and let's start all over now. Or they could have been building the defense. You understand? After, all this time, and now, you know what I mean? So again, if the argument is that the court never scrutinized the case themselves, like they never looked at the case presented by the 9 accused and said whether this was of merit or not. So this could be completely frivolous, right? Because the court never examined it. And so therefore they shouldn't be allowed to just give a judgment, especially if it's going to pay damages. Then all right, let them examine it. Let them examine the case and make their determination then. But to now give you a chance to come after the 99th hour, because again, considering these 9 men are claiming that they suffered gravely at the hands of the government, right? And now you're going to make them suffer even more by ordering this whole thing start all over.
So I don't know if you would know. So if they end up going through the process, starting it over or delaying it some more, do you think they could get more money? I know sometimes when they take a while to pay, there's an interest to pay.
I would assume that's what the attorneys would say. That imagine after having treated us like this, now they are now petitioning to have the case reopened after a judgment was granted for my clients to finally put, some it wouldn't necessarily fully compensate them for their lost time and all the suffering that they had to endure, but at least it would provide some comfort for them and their families. Now they're stalling that to after having all this time to present it, and now they're coming back. Of course, we'll want more damages. I'm sure they would want more because of it. There will be more costs involved. To dealing with their attorneys, because their attorneys don't have to continue to fight this case. So I mean, I would assume they would want more damages. That only make more. That is logical. And as I say, I find that would be. Just speaking as a layman, I think that would be a miscarriage of justice if that was allowed. If the state could, because I mean, if they had good reason for not submitting a defense, or they could say something that was even remotely rational, then they could say, okay, fine, then all right. But for you are going to tell me that we lost a file, and that's why we're going to put these defendants through this whole rigmarole again. Like, there's some kind of dog and pony show. I don't know, but I also don't know if Ramesh just angling to get the work.
Right.
Because he's giving the government all this free legal advice so they could hire him to to do the case. I don't know.
But hey, I mean, as we said earlier, men noticing money passing and legal fees. Yeah, everybody trying to show their hat in the ring. You understand what I'm saying?
I mean, as I say, just from a layman's perspective, that does seem right. That doesn't seem right that you would, after your incompetence, led to the default judgment being laid down. It's not like if it was any fault of the defendants. You know what I mean? They didn't try a smart thing. They didn't submit documents and hide it from you. You received it, signed for it. You had numerous communications, at which point you could have said, okay, well, where's this file they're talking about? Okay, it's not like if they send the documents over to your office, and after 8 days it didn't reply. So hey, default judgment one time. No, it's not so it does work. You had numerous occasions where you were informed that something was happening, where you could have said, hey, but there's a file, but there's a case here. Where's the file they're referring to? And if you lost the file at that point, hey, can you resend it?
Yeah.
So to have that happen and then now tell me, well, because of some technicality, you're gonna reopen this case and reach. Now, listen, people might say like I in favor the men and them. Well, first of all, I don't know if their claim is without merit. If the claim is with merit, they were maliciously prosecuted, or due process wasn't followed by the police or whomever, which is a believable, plausible thing. Then yeah, they should get paid because that's not how it's supposed to work. So I listen, but that is that. So I just wanted to follow up on that so people were aware that was the case. And the last thing I wanted to bring up was the fact that, and people could Google it themselves, I'm not going to bother to read the article, but in Jamaica, they've been reporting for the past few months. The last report I saw was mid-February, that they have seen a sustained reduction in crime. Sustained meaning it's taken since last November. Right? They've seen reductions in murders, like almost 50%. There are some places, some districts where up to the end of January, from the beginning of January, from middle December to the beginning of January, I think Trilani is one of them, where they had no reported shootings or killings.
Okay.
Which is unusual.
Right.
So, now, it should be mentioned that they have been utilizing SOEs.
I know they say that they have lockdowns and things.
Well, not lockdowns, but SOEs, yeah. Not necessarily where they institute lockdowns or curfews, but they do have, they have had SOEs in place intermittently since like last year, August, right?
But they had some curfews too.
Well, in some districts, in some areas, right? But very limited. It's not like if it's a nationwide, a parish-wide thing. So, but yes, they have had those things in place. But the point is, they've been seeing a reduction, right? And Andrew Holness is, politicians, they do. So he's already, beating up his chest and saying, look out for it to continue throughout 2023. We taking over the streets, we blah, blah, blah. We're not letting the criminals know, blah, blah, blah. The usual spiel you'll get from politicians. But I mentioned that only to say, you were just talking about, how we getting some forward and foreign. You want more foreigners to come down for the carnival and wherever, right? The issues, which I spoke directly to 2 visitors. This was earlier in the season, this was last year. And they said, not him last year, last month. And they said, Franco men, that they were worried about the crime. But, they had a good friend who told them, he could keep them on the street and narrow.
Okay.
Right. Make sure they don't go where they, But then, they could be on the avenue. And get caught.
Yeah.
Right? The middle of the day. As happened to a tourist.
Yeah.
Right. So we are so I'm saying all this to say that we have to pay attention to the fact that crime is having an impact on the mindset of visitors. And if we're going to be we want to capitalize on all this traction we gaining with the carnival, we got to do something with the safety. And one of the things that you constantly hear from the apologists, whenever you talk about how the government isn't handling the crime situation effectively, what you want them to do, what you want him to do, whether it's Fitzgerald or it's Dr. Rowley or whomever, what you want them to do. Well, the government of Jamaica seems to be doing something.
Yeah,
so it is possible apparently. I don't know to be done.
What the relationship is like between Dr. Rowley and Andrew Holness, but you can link him, dog. Give him a call, find out. We do not cross by him there because Jamaica normally has more murders than us, even per capita.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Not normally. I think it always.
Yeah.
Always does. Yeah.
Well, I don't know if that is situation now.
Yeah, last year things unless them last couple of months threw it off. Yes, they were on course to run past me.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, probably right now for the years. Probably more than them.
Yeah, probably. Yes, if they have had this reduction.
If they have a 50% reduction for the year, we pass them.
Yeah,
because we passed what we was last year. Right? So we run past them, right? But yeah, it could probably hit them up. And I mean, I think that is the kind of the conversations countries like Caribbean countries who have these issues, I think they could meet and because I'm sure it would have some similarities in
But of course, bro.
Yeah, so I mean,
but of course. But I just want it to be known that something can be done.
Mm-hmm.
And we've seen that something can be
done. But
I
think we always knew something can be done. And as we have always said, they just got the political will to do it. They just don't want to do it. It's like,
but not just, I want the people who constantly tell me what you want them to do. Well, look, this is something that can be done.
You know, you could tell those people Google. There are plenty of places that were crime ridden,
yes,
and people got it under control.
But you know, if you tell them about places like Georgia or even say New York from in the 80s into the 90s, you talk about other cities in the US that had, you know, and some of them have a resurgence now. But the point is, it was dealt with. Atlanta was one that had DC was another one that had a period where they were the murder capital of the United States, down between DC and Maryland. You know, and Virginia, that area there, they were running wild. Around 2006, 2007, when I went there, it was like, you know, my wife's, well, she was my wife then, but her aunt was like, hey, here's a little different. Here a little different. But now it's not A-okay, but it's much better. So yes, there are many examples, but they will always kind of see like those places different to us. You know, they would, like when they talk about the country Georgia that I talk about all the time, they say, that's different people. It's Jamaica, bro. That's right there with people just like we, right? All the corruption you could think about, right there. You know what I mean? No disrespect to Jamaica, but you can't. If you're talking Caribbean, I can't think of anywhere more known for political corruption than there. Right. And politically motivated and linked violence.
Mm-hmm. And then, for the people who just say it's hard times is cause it, them are real hard times there. Right? Yes. All the nice beach and all the things. Them are real hard times there.
But I mean, their economy has been picking up steam over the past few years. But there is still a lot of sufferation over there, right? They have a growing middle class and they have been moving in the right direction economically. I don't know what's happening since COVID because that's shown a span in the books for everybody. But prior to the arrival of COVID, the past few years, Jamaica's economy, the stock market, everything has been booming, going in the right direction.
The only thing I'm not boom is bullshit time. That boom will blow up. It exploded.
You know, you're laughing at the man, but that's a tough situation, bro. That's a real tough situation. But yeah, but there's still, even with all of that, they have real sufferation right over there. And yeah, and they definitely would have been affected by COVID. They would be dealing with high food prices, just like here. You understand?
Well, higher because I know what the food price was like, but the electricity prices, the gas prices, food and gas, everything way more expensive than here.
Was more expensive before COVID.
Yeah.
So much less how it could be now. So as I say, if it's hard times, it's gonna make them feeling it too. And they have fun. And you know, you can say, yeah, but they're the point of SOE to deal with the crime. Okay, so we had SOEs to deal with another situation that was drastic. Why can't we not have measures that are similar? Is this situation drastic enough for you? Oh, okay, you want 700 there, and then they go take it seriously. 500, that is small thing. 500, so 600.
600 last year, dog.
Yeah,
Yeah, 600.
Right, it was 6. Yeah, I know we crossed a threshold, but I thought it was 4 into 5. But no, it was 5 into 6. Right, it was 580 something into 6. Right. So okay, so you already reach 1,000, and then you go take it. Then you go be like, all right, well, then it's worthy of a SOE. Now, I'm not calling for lockdowns, you know. I'm not talking for economic activity to be disturbed. And to be fair, that's not exactly what's taking place in Jamaica. It's a kind of complicated situation. It's not, but they are certainly not locking down economic activity and all of that. Yes, you might have some curbing of the entertainment industry in little zones. They might be able to throw dance here and throw dance there, but you could go somewhere else and throw a dance. You know what I'm saying? So again, I'm not calling for economic lockdowns, but why we can have drastic measures? Because isn't this a drastic issue? You know what I mean? Isn't this a serious issue?
Well, I guess not to some. Because unlike COVID, let's be real, the crime yet bad, but still not really knocking on certain people's door. Whereas COVID was knocking on everybody's door.
Or they felt it could.
Or they felt it could have knocked on. I didn't say everybody would die, you know, but they felt like anybody could have gotten it.
Yeah.
Right? But with crime, they still don't feel like anybody get touched. You understand what I'm saying? They still feel, a lot of people still feel, well, it had to be somebody who involved in something. Or they had something going on. Because people don't kill people just so. You understand? Or they have man and woman situation. You know, so I guess that is probably the difference.
Well, people, I think, you know, we could, as you say, have a meeting of national security ministers, police.
I didn't say that,
commissioners.
Brother. I don't offer jail meeting with nobody. You understand? I didn't say that, brother. Right? I don't want him meet with nobody. Right?
He go fall asleep.
You understand?
He go fall asleep in the meeting.
He come back now, well in the meeting. Well, it's the aspagacious cup thing. You understand? Forget that. Right? Rolly, you go. Ula, you go. Right? We don't offer meeting with nobody. You stay here, brother.
Right? True. So whoever you had to meet, because, as I say, it is clear something can be done. And to be fair, if it is only a temporary thing, so isn't it okay to temporarily halt it too?
I mean, they could temporarily halt it and see if they could put things in place, different measures, while they kind of put things on a hold and see if they could fight it in a different way.
It all depends on what is the cost of that. Just like with the virus, yes, you can stop it, but at what cost? So is the cost that we might be paying worth the momentary pause in it? Well, it depends on what the measures are. If the measures are a limited SOE, where economic activity isn't impacted, the general person's daily life might be impacted, but it might allow for certain types of policing to take place.
Right.
I am not one. You know me. I never advocate for just wiping out people's constitutional rights. But the point is, they don't care about your constitutional rights because they suspended it the other day without even blinking, right? So they already have shown you. Well, listen, if we feel it's a drastic enough situation, we will suspend your rights, and we don't care about how you feel about it. So my thing is, so it's only for a pathogen you could do that. It's only for something, because it's only when the people scream and frighten, and that's when it's do it, or you could use it to actually improve national security. You want to do that too? You could try that as a possible option. You know what I mean? But like I say, I am not here advocating for people's rights to be taken away, bro. But what I'm saying is, I know they don't care. You know, they that's not what's stopping them from doing it. So again, even if it's a temporary respite or temporary reduction, depending on what it costs, it may very well be worth it.
It's 2 more years before election, so I could guarantee you, if just when they realize that, they'll be like, wait, boy, dog, boy, we cannot go into election here with 600 murders.
Yeah.
Just now, don't worry, you're here just now. We cannot go into election here. Well, they ain't gonna say that. But then you go see them jump off the high horse and say, well, boys, I'm not take place because we can't go into election here. We can't go into 2025 with 600 murders.
Right.
That looks like a losing election.
But I don't feel them can. I don't feel they will ever see that situation as an unwinnable situation. I don't think that they would necessarily feel like, nah, boy, we had to. Now, I'm not saying they wouldn't be alarmed, you know, but I'm saying I don't think that they'll go into, like, they'll be so alarmed, like, nah, we have to stop this at any means because we cannot win an election. Because first of all, they can't win an election with 600 murders. They could win an election with 750 murders. Because that's how stupid we are. That's how.
Hey, and it's something else I want to touch on, but I don't want to carry it on too much with it. I want to touch on the Anil boy, dog boy.
Oh, he was
the Anil robots.
Outer
Savannah, boy.
Or he was outer body.
Yeah. Are you real proud of no, dog?
Why, boy?
Because that's how that's we culture, dog. You understand? I was never one of the people who drag on Kamala for being drunk. If you're drunk by the time do your walk, dog, I have a problem with that. But I'm not here, boy. That we culture rum, boy.
But that man is nothing but a media personality, no?
Well, true.
So he could
He's
be.
not senator.
No.
He's not senator again?
No, he's not senator again.
Serious?
No. He had nothing to do with the party other than you know, a vocal supporter of the party.
Okay.
Let me, that's all. Let me, before I talk out of turn,
But yeah, I think, you know, oh good boy, we need to touch on Watson boy. We gotta record tomorrow again, boy. It's real anyway, just now. Today's Wednesday,
but
next week Tuesday.
I'll be honest with you. No boy, the man is really a senator again, yes?
Yeah.
I thought they threw him out again last year.
You understand?
Yeah, right.
That's what we talking about, boy, dog, boy. You should be a reflection of the people. You're certain like, that is what we just do. It's time to party and Lime Carnival time. Don't vex with the man for being drunk on you. That is what we do, dog. That is what we as a people. The man is not in the Senate drunk. Right?
The man was out of body, bro.
That
was a different kind of...
Yeah, I think that's okay. In my opinion, that's okay.
Different kind of saucy was there.
At the end of the day, don't go in the Senate drunk where you can't go and represent as you should or the way you're supposed to do as you should. But you're lineman and you're outside. It's outside, we're outside, dog. At the end of the day, that's what we do as a people. That's what we do. That's what we love. We love rum, we love lime. That's what we just do.
Once he wasn't, you know, interfering with nobody, right? Me see nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I think so.
And I mean, like, anyway.
Yeah.
I feel I want to go down that road with the Watson do thing. So let me lock off.
Yeah.
Let me lock off.
Let me look to put our foot. Let me look to put our foot down and end it here.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We go on.